Okay, we're live.
We are?
Yeah, we're live.
All right.
No, I'm
I don't see
lying. I
anything.
was just joking. We're not. We're
I
not.
don't know how to tell. Lone Lang Lin says, "Oh no."
Can you hear me? Am I coming through clearly? It's me, Emil from the series Nier Automata.
Oh shit! There we are. Hi, and I'm Luigi from Nintendo's famous series, Luigi's Mansion.
And together we are. What the fuck are we doing?
We're discovering SCP. That's us, Luigi and Emil.
Yeah, we've got some little avatars here to represent
Oh, you
us.
can move them.
Yeah, I'm moving
Wait, you
them
should move.
manually.
That's how we're gonna do us talking. Finally, VTubers, we made it.
We did it. We're VTubers.
We'll be accepting those $20,000 donations, please.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hello, our 500 subscribers. Hello. Hello. We're so grateful. Thank you. Long Langlin says this is horrible and he's not wrong.
Wait, I missed that. Where'd they say that?
In the chat.
Oh, no. This is horrible. All right. Yes. Hello. Thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. We are very grateful to all of you. And we are going to be doing some fun stuff today. We're gonna read and crit a couple of we're gonna read and crit a couple of drafts. We're gonna probably do some Q&A throughout the thing, like question answer. We might do games, and at the last minute, me and Tanhoney and I, we thought of a very special surprise that I think you guys are gonna totally dig. So let's get things started, shall we? What do you want to get to first?
Well, I asked for some things to crit on our stream. And three of my our loyal viewers responded. So
cool. Let's check it out. I see one is lawn sandbox. The other, does every individual writer have their own sandbox?
Usually, yeah, you use it to put your stuff in.
That's kind of cool. Is it hard to make one?
Yeah, you have to have been on the SCP Wiki for a couple of years.
Oh, I thought you just had to like make a little perimeter of wood and then put sand in it. But
well, you thought wrong, didn't you?
I guess that shows what I know, huh? Yeah, I guess so.
Well, let's get into it.
Yes. All right. Oh, wow. This is a lot of imagery.
Why don't you read it? Why don't you read something for once?
Okay, yes. Let me... Wow. All right.
Yeah, we're very aggressive now. This is welcome to aggressive SCP.
All right. What's the name of this article?
It's called Third SCP Attempt Redux Current. Read this one, not the other one. So I don't think there's a name yet.
Do we read all those little tabs later too, or
no? Those are just different SCPs.
Okay. So item number quadruple-x, not to be confused with triple-x.
Hunter will probably going to do this for a couple of hours.
Yes. Level 2 restricted. Containment class Keter. Disruption class Vlam. Risk class Warning.
Warning. Two idiots
are reading this lawn sandbox file on the intercoms. Special containment procedures. All wild populations of SCP-quadruple-x are to be secured and transferred to Site-24. Captive instances of the SCP are to be kept in bins coated with at least 2 centimeters of lead and fed weekly. This lead coating is to be inspected and, if necessary, reapplied once every 2 weeks. All direct handling of SCP-quadruple-x instances is to be done using lead-covered gloves. Exposure of the SCP instances to seawater is only to be done for testing purposes and in small numbers. There is an image there. I don't know what it is of.
Well, it's an instance of the SCP in the wild.
I know, but like, is it dirt with like a weed sticking out? I can't tell.
You can say. Hey, sorry.
Anyway.
This is Long Langlin.
Sorry here. Yeah, Tan, you handle the chat since I'm reading. So I have your thing full screen.
This is Long Langlin's SCP Hunter.
Yes. Description, SCP-quadruple-x is a species of earthworm, okay, there's my question, of the family Lumbricidae, which is endemic to a number of caves in the Levant. The SCP instances are capable of transmuting solid matter in close proximity to their peristomium. There's a little footnote. Could you have that for me?
Please, of course.
The first true body segment of an annelid worm, which includes the mouth. Very surprised by the biological detail. Very impressed, Lonlang, as a former biology major. Into soil, which they then eat. The speed of the transmutation is inversely proportional to the material's density. In effect, this makes the SCP capable of burrowing in and consuming any solid object. Additionally, the SCP instances are capable of anomalously detecting the nearby presence of seawater, which they attempt to avoid. However, unlike other earthworm species, the SCP displays no negative consequences from exposure to overly saline environments or from underexposure to air. Instances of the SCP which have previously come into contact with seawater behave erratically, often neglecting their own safety or feeding. Research into this phenomenon is ongoing.
Nice.
Okay, so they can turn anything into soil, and they don't like seawater. Discovery.
Yeah.
SCP-quadruple-x was first discovered on the 12th of November 2018 in a cave near Akko, Israel, during an expedition by amateur cavers. During this expedition, initial observations of SCP-quadruple-x's anomalous properties were made. Foundation agents acted based on local rumors and successfully established initial containment.
Thank you, SCP Short Stories.
All right, so now we've got... is SCP Short Stories here?
Yes, they say congratulations, brother.
Aren't they just generally terrifying tales now? I think I follow them on Twitter. Didn't they change their thing recently?
I don't know. They're in the chat and they're called SCP Short Stories. You ask them. They're there.
Yeah, let me back out of the reading for a second. Well, I guess it won't show for 30 seconds.
Yeah, he needs to know now.
Okay, test number quadruple-x.4. An instance of SCP-quadruple-x is placed within a wooden box with a wall thickness of 1 centimeter. Result: the instance eats through the wood, reaching the outer side in approximately 3 minutes. Next test number is .7. An instance of SCP-quadruple-x is placed within a lead box with a wall thickness of 1 centimeter. The instance is less interested in the lead as a food source and rarely eats through it, only to eventually die of starvation. That's a little bit confusing to me, because I thought its thing wasn't that it eats anything, it's that it converts anything to soil. So why would it be different if they convert the lead to soil? Or did I misread it earlier? I'm a little bit confused.
Into soil. Yeah, it tends to be...
So does it just not like to transform the lead?
Interesting.
I'm not sure. .12. An instance of SCP-quadruple-x is exposed to salt. No observable results. .14. An instance of SCP-quadruple-x is placed in a seawater tank. The instance flails wildly before adopting an anguilliform swimming method. Following a few minutes of seemingly random swimming...
Personally, I love eating lead, so I don't know why I'd have trouble with that.
I know, right? Begins solely swimming in parallel to the tank's walls, despite lacking any senses which would render it capable of such navigation. Update. This is European time. 13th of February 2019. On the February 9th, 2019, a second population of SCP-quadruple-x was found inhabiting a seafront grotto south of Tyre, Lebanon. This population has proven to be more difficult to contain, with instances often burrowing in the rock upon the arrival of Foundation teams. This unusual behavior has been attributed to the high amounts of seawater exposure this population underwent. Did SCP Tales respond about my inquiry?
They did not.
Oh, sad. Update.
They don't.
February
it's SCP Short Stories, so I don't even know if you're talking about the same channel there.
Yeah, I might be confused. Apologies. During extraction and transportation efforts into the grotto, Foundation teams encountered a statue carved out of the local stone, depicting an unknown bearded man that could be literally any philosopher in all of history. Upon closer inspection, the statue shattered, revealing a large number of SCP-quadruple-x instances. This is very bizarre because Tan's the one scrolling, not me, so it's like freaking me out. Revealing a large number of SCP-quadruple-x instances inhabiting its interior. The instances proceeded to move. Thank you, Bread, for coming. Thank you. The instances proceeded to move in.
That's what I say when the time my toaster finishes making toast.
Thank you, Bread. I'm happy. The current status of this population is unknown. Okay, then we have test number 18. This one was a separate log in and of itself. An instance of SCP-quadruple-x that has previously been exposed to seawater is placed within a wooden box with a wall thickness of 1 centimeter. The instance eats through the wood surface in a pattern, and a digital rendering of it, I assume it's supposed to be, is presented in Figure 2. Text generated by SCP-quadruple-x during... I can't read that. I assume that's... it's Phoenician.
That?
There we go.
You can't read Phoenician?
Can you mouse over the footnote?
Of course.
The language spoken by the... Fucking, I probably could have assumed that. All right, forget it. The text reads as follows. I am the judge of sea and river. Who is it who steals my slaves? No further texts were generated by SCP-quadruple-x instances. All attempts at communication received no visible response.
Bankapol, we're reading through some drafts that people have sent in prior to the stream.
Yes. Update April 5th, 2019. Or May 5th, sorry. In an attempt to potentially locate the now lost grotto population, an instance of SCP-quadruple-x was fitted with a tracking microchip and released in the area. The instance moved in a straight line towards a location off the coast of Latakia, Syria, where our transmission ended. Foundation efforts to sail to the location were intercepted by ships carrying identifying markers of the Syrian government, whose crew informed the Foundation agents the location was a naval no-go zone due to ongoing natural gas prospecting. The agents produced their own Syrian identifications, at which point the ship's commander identified as belonging to the Global Occult Coalition in exchange for. It's funny on the Discord stream I'm watching to get live. I just see your mouse wiggling. I assume you're propping up Luigi. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I'm just moving
like
it.
Cursor spazzing. That's so funny. At which point the ships, yes. Later information sharing agreements revealed that the GOC believes the area in question to be the focal point of an entity or phenomenon classified as UTE-1594-Ex Machina-Cetus. While the GOC has, as of yet, not allowed Foundation entry into the area, bathymetric scans of it were conducted by Foundation radars from outside the no-go zone. So this is not the worm, clearly. So I assume the narrative is not the worms that are important, but the worms are a servant of something else that is much greater, which is kind of interesting. What being would want things that just turn things in the soil and eat them, I wonder? Perhaps a destroyer of worlds or civilizations that would want to return things to the earth? I don't know, but I like it. It's kind of interesting, but obviously it still needs a couple quick grammar edits, maybe a little bit more fleshing out. I assume that's why it's a draft. It's not totally finished, but I liked it. I'd give it like 7.5, 8 out of 10.
7.5, 8 watts? Like stars, fireballs, or?
It doesn't matter, because no matter what the item is, the rating translates to the same thing. I will rate it fireballs, though, if that makes you feel better.
Okay.
All right, and then there are some image sources. Nice.
So Killer One Gamer 1, 500 subs, baby, is a blank page.
Yeah, that's just for our special thing that we're going to do later. So what did you think about that
I liked it.
Long draft?
I liked it. I liked it. Long,
do you have anything more specific to say than just you liked it?
Oh, I'm about to continue, but you interrupted me there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't do it again.
You do it
again. The stream ends.
It's weird. I can't really process your talking when Emil isn't moving alongside.
Oh, I see. Of course. Sorry, forgive me. Well, basically, what I was thinking is that I don't want to sound premonition long like but you seem like a guy who's into languages.
Yeah.
So we can see straight away when we get to this little picture in the middle here. This is definitely a long Langland work, and it's got that. I do really like historical touches in SCPs, and this does appeal to me, especially when it goes back to sort of Iron Age civilizations, things like that, things that outside of the usual history that you would see brought in there.
Absolutely. Lon Langland has been posting for a while in the server some of their work, and he's a very cool guy. I've talked to him on text. He's got a very deep voice. I dig it, and he seems to be into a lot of like history stuff, like you said, language. I remember he showed some music, and it was kind of pretty cultured stuff. It wasn't like like more modern poppy music.
I remember for quite a while, Langland was the only person reading April Space, so I now owe him a life debt.
Yeah,
like Chewbacca.
Also, if anyone here is another writer, I believe Lon Langland was also working on a project, unless that was this and he just did it himself. He was looking to collaborate with someone who's a little bit more focused on like character type stuff, so he could go all out with the world building aspect. If anyone's interested in that, hit him up. You can find him on the server or in the chat right now. So with that, we have Boris's next, but Boris said his isn't finished, right?
Well, that's fine.
But I mean, so I'm not gonna rate it because it's not finished. This one, I assume, is still being made too, the Lon Lang one, but it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like mostly finished, but I think depending on Boris's, I might not rate it because I don't have enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll read this one. I'll have mercy on you.
Oh, thank God, because there's like a part right below my bottom lip. There's like a bump or something.
That's your mustache.
No, never mind. Also, a mustache wouldn't be below your bottom lip. What? That'd be a beard.
Don't worry about it. You haven't seen a real mustache yet.
What's Osina? Oh, right, Polish Wiki.
The Discord link. Darnell, get them the Discord link quickly.
Oh crap!
Get it.
Yes.
Do it now.
I'm going as fast as I can.
They're dying. They need it.
I'm sorry.
You let them die.
All right, I posted it. All right, so knock us out of the park with this one.
Did you post it? I can't fucking see it.
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll believe you for now. Let's get to it. Object class SCP-XXXX. Containment class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Efforts to obtain legal ownership of the SCP are ongoing. As of this writing...
Wait, is this the SCP Wiki itself?
Are you sure you've posted that link? It's still not appeared. Where did you post it?
I swear I posted it in the stream chat. Okay. Right before Will Zed said I have made it to the stream.
Well, it hasn't appeared here, so I'll believe you, though.
I'll fucking keep spamming it. There, I posted it 2 more times.
What was it?
Oh, you know what it might be? It might be because it's a link you have to approve it, or it got auto-filtered out because it's a stream. Alright, I will read it out loud to the interested parties. https://discord.gg//yq-j9hw. Alright. YouTube doesn't allow links in stream chats, Longling says. Code is YQJ9HW to join that way from join a server option on Discord.
Nice one. Let's start again there. Efforts to obtain legal ownership over the SCP are ongoing. As of this writing, the local authorities are attempting to seize the land on which SCP is standing through eminent domain. So I see people have started to use logic in the chat, so I'm going to continue reading and ignore that. Yeah, upon completion of that process, the legal ownership will be transferred to a Foundation front company under the cover story of a planned development of a new apartment building in its place, and the SCP will be fenced off and secured from trespassers. Until that is achieved, the SCP is to be monitored by at least 3 Foundation agents stationed within it. I hope the 3 wacky guys. And the apartments that become available...
Just a sitcom? Those 3 wacky guys!
Until that is achieved, the SCP is to be monitored by at least... Any apartments become available to be bought or rented by the Foundation. As of 1/7/2020, the Foundation owns 6 apartments within the SCP and rents 2. Of these, one houses the assigned agents, and one is... This probably should be a comma after of these, I would say there. One houses the assigned agents, and one is used by researchers during testing. Breaches of secrecy are unlikely due to the antimemetic effects of the SCP. But if they occur, they have to be suppressed through the use of amnestics on direct witnesses and a disinformation campaign depicting any leaked information as a hoax or an urban legend. Please forgive me.
It's all good. We're human.
Any SCP instances seen leaving their appropriate floors is to be immediately apprehended and interrogated. Stay at home.
Oh, is this about quarantine?
No.
I'm just trying to guess. I just imagine everything is a modern play for some reason. I don't know why.
So the SCP is a block of flats located on Redacted Street in Poland. The block was apparently built by the government in the 1960s, but I would probably say the Polish government. I know it sounds redundant, but I think it would sound a bit better than the government. But it's unknown when it acquired its anomalous qualities. The building
or
appears...
even just the local government or federal government.
Yeah. The building appears to be 10-story high, with 6 apartments on every floor. Despite this, it's possible to access 57 additional floors within it. Those floors can only be entered by ascending the staircase, as no attempts to access them by descending or using the elevator were successful. Their layout is highly variable and often inconsistent with what would be expected of an apartment building. The SCP is a collective designation for all creatures that can be found within the additional floors. Despite the appearance of humans and household pets, they seemingly require no sustenance and typically engage in highly repetitive behaviour. -1 instances are not hostile and can be interacted with, although these interactions are rarely meaningful and quickly end with the SCP attempting to return to their routine. Wow.
Oh, are they ghosts?
Maybe.
Spooky ghosts?
The basement of the SCP has no confirmed anomalous qualities, but is abnormally large, housing 408 individual compartments instead of standard 66.
So, sorry to interrupt, but I just had a thought, because I always think about this, and I wanted to verbalize it before I forgot again. So in this case...
Thank you, Dr. Whitney.
What?
I was saying thank you to Dr. Whitney in the chat.
Oh, yeah. So this SCP, the designations are for just any animals or humans in there, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Or like the ones that are on the floors that aren't real people. I always wonder what would happen when an instance that like resembles humans and animals were to meet with something that affects those things. Like, for example, the animal tower thing from the Animal Crossing episode. Like, what would happen if animals of these encountered that?
Interesting. We'll have
like 2 anomalous things, but one anomalous thing represents a normal thing.
I see what you mean. Yeah, like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to read an article about that. Like an SCP tries to get something and then it's surprised to find out it's also an SCP in disguise. or like, for example, the one from that tale, or maybe it wasn't a tale. Do you remember the one of like the guys in the suits that came in on the ship and were like, "We gotta rescue you"?
Yeah.
Like those guys enter these apartments. What happens to them then?
They gotta rescue him.
Because there are so many fucking SCPs in the world, it seems hard to believe that they wouldn't at times encounter each other in such a comedic way.
Yeah, Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, Super Smash SCP. All right, sorry. You were at instead of standard 66, the sentence after that.
Due to its size, it intersects with basements and surrounding buildings, as well as underground infrastructure such as drainage pipes which go through it. At some point in the past, the parts of the basement not normally used by the tenants were partitioned off, under the assumption of constituting a long-defunct emergency bunker. Such bunker, I would probably say said bunker there, is not actually present anywhere inside the basement, despite the inclusion in the official plans and presence of surrounding blocks. A minor antimemetic effect causes all people leaving the extra floors to forget their experience inside. That effect can be easily counteracted with Class W amnestics in low doses. Addendum 1. Recovery log. The anomaly was first encountered by Polish State Electrical Commission, not electrical commission, on account of suspected voter fraud. The SCP at that time formed its own electoral circuit with over 1,600 registered inhabitants. That is over 6 times the average number for a building of that size. The electoral list included non-standard apartment numbering system, and voters listed under non-standing positions were all identified as some kind of permutation of common Polish first and last names, with many combinations repeating, as well as possessing invalid identification numbers.
So they're just fake people.
Yeah. Once Foundation agents embedded in the commission took over the investigation, all records were altered and the block was merged with the neighbouring circuit. I love how every organisation has agents embedded.
Yeah. I wonder if there's, like, one innocent organization. Like, even if you go to, like, your fucking local, like, ice cream place, there's a fucking Foundation agent just in case. I've infiltrated Krispy Kreme donuts.
So, Boris isn't here, I don't believe, so I don't have much context for what this is. I don't know if it's part of the SCP.
Especially because, like, some of it's written in Polish still, like, at the top parts, so I don't know what each thing is.
So, I
love, look at the one that says Martwi Linky. Most of them are Polish, then there's a couple SCPs, and one of them just says unforgettable. That's what you are. On number 11, do you see that? Me when I see tan, unforgettable. That's what you are.
I know.
I don't want to rate this because, I mean, obviously it's still clearly in process. I don't know if it's finished yet or not.
Yeah,
but can you scroll down? Is there anything past this list?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, yeah.
Henzoid! He's real!
He's real! He exists!
Ooh, that's me!
Holy shit. Which one of those SCPs? What SCP is that? 2874?
That's one of mine.
Fucking click on it. I want to see what it is.
Can I read it?
Yeah. No.
We'll probably actually won't end up reading this on the podcast, so we'll do a read. Oh, we won't do a reading of it in the Polish wiki, but
yeah, just look it up real quick on Google. Or are you scared of what might pop up in your Google search?
No.
No fear?
No fear.
Oh, that's... You're so quick.
We'll get to that one after the crit. We'll read through it.
Alright, so the crit, obviously, Tan pointed out most of the spelling mistakes and word mistakes as they came.
I would probably space out some of these paragraphs as too, as I like put a little gap between some of this stuff.
That's just a general author tip. When things are in highly dense paragraphs, they are a little hard for, like, readers get intimidated, at least I do. And it feels almost like a chore to read, so it helps to space it out, particularly by, like, topic. So, for example, the first part talking about the description in description, then that second part, right, where it says as a collective designation, I would make that the start of its own paragraph, and then so on and so forth, and like just space it out a bit. I can't really say much because I assume it's not finished, and the main chart that it links to is illegible for us at the moment. But I mean, it seems kind of cool based on what I see.
I feel like the chart is going to be what makes it.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see that it was discovered in a mundane way. It wasn't like, oh, people heard scary voices or people went missing.
682 popped his head out of his door.
Yeah, it was like, oh, there was voter fraud because too many people were voting.
682 committed voter fraud.
I wanted to commit tax evasion. Do you think any anomalous people have ever joined the Foundation, got locked away to avoid paying their taxes?
Absolutely.
Like Mr. Fish, he's like, I'm just here to avoid my bill.
It's just a mask.
It's just a mask. That reminds me of the Halloween joke SCP we read. Alright, so what's the last one? Object number...
Let's get into this. This one was sent in by our good friend and viewer, Hitari.
Copycat. Is Atari in the chat? I think you mentioned him earlier.
I think he said we popped up earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but hopefully he is, because we're going to read through his lesson. Oh, he is. He's actually watching the Google Doc right now.
Wow, that is epic style.
Let's get into it. Object number, SCP-XXXX, copycat. Object class, XXXX. It's non-standard.
Someone in the chat said just post the letters after the slash. I already did that, but I'm going to post it again.
Oh no, we said that like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, well then what's the point? Because, whatever. Fine, I will post it again.
Why did you suddenly read that?
Because I had it zoomed in on the Discord, so I couldn't see the chat before. Okay. When I have your thing open, the only way I can read it is to like full screen it, and then I can't read the YouTube chat.
I see.
So I was like scrolling through to see what I missed.
Okay, well, object class SCP-XXX copycat. Object class XXX. Special containment procedures. I like this image. I like the cat.
Teddy bear.
The SCP is to be kept within a sealed box. This box should be locked at all times and should only be opened for cleaning. I'll probably rephrase that to be this box should be locked at all times, bar cleaning. Bar regular cleaning, maybe. Cleaning must be authorized and surveyed by the site manager. While cleaning, everyone within 20 meters of the SCP must wear a gas mask with P3 filters to ensure that AMN XXXA is not inhaled. Anyone who inhales it must be detained and monitored.
Is that short for amnestic?
I don't know. Must be detained and monitored for 2 hours. After this time period is over, continuous checkups and monitoring should take place over the next week. I'll probably split this into a separate sentence here.
Mm-hmm.
If any site staff have inhaled AMN XXXB, this will be guaranteed for 2 weeks. Monitoring should continue for up to a month after the initial inhalation. All substances the SCP produces should be incinerated after cleaning.
I want to make a prediction real quick.
Okay.
Now, I know it's called copycat, so I'm probably way off, but since it looks like a stuffed teddy bear, my theory is it's something that when you inhale it, it makes you forget about all your worries.
What's it worried about?
I don't know. No, like the people who inhale it, their worries, not its worries.
I see. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Description. The SCP is a stuffed toy resembling a cat with 2 lopsided plastic eyes and tattered fur. It appears to date from around 1852, however no trademarks are present. The SCP releases a hallucinatory amnestic known as AMNA into the air around it. I don't know why I repeated that because I said it fine. This amnestic is effective up to 20 meters. I've inhaled it. Oh no.
No.
Upon inhaling A, the affected...
I forgot that we're on a live stream right now.
What? Live stream? Ugh, only like rock. Right now. only like rock and fire.
You forgot how to be technology.
Upon inhaling A, the affected will begin to feel slight headaches and memory loss. After about 12 minutes, the victim will begin to hallucinate. The most common hallucination being that the victim will begin to believe they're an infantile child inside of their bedroom. Uh-oh. They will then begin to feel the urge to embrace the SCP.
I was on the right track with the stuffed animal thing.
If the affected is unable to embrace the SCP, they'll begin to cry and throw childish tantrums until AMN XXXX has worn off. A is relatively harmless, however, an individual exposed to it for a prolonged... Please restart.
You good? Exposed to it for a prolonged period of time, long-term sensory damage.
That's what's happening! Over time, the SCP appears to produce a mixture of tar, soot, and blood which seeps from the seams within the stitching. Over a week, a volume of around 40 milliliters of the substance will be produced. If not cleaned out regularly, the substance will begin to create a stronger version of -A, known as -B. Particles of -B are extremely small, hard to contain and filter out of the air. -B has long-term damage, including loss of hearing, retrograde amnesia, and in some cases, permanent hallucinations. You just see Luigi in the corner of your eye forever.
Yeah, sorry guys, that's what happened here. That's not part of the stream.
Due to this, the cleaning of the SCP must be done on a regular basis. If the SCP is not cleaned regularly, a site-wide containment breach could occur. Oh, I thought that was another page, but that's the end.
Alright, so again, this one's not finished yet, so I don't want to give it a rating. I like the presence, but I think definitely paragraphs need to be spaced out. A lot of things need to be shored up in terms of sentence structure. Like the first one that pops up, the one Tanhoney brought out, like bar this, or maybe something like say for instances of, or except to. It just seems weird to say should be, but then should be again in a certain circumstance. It's hard to verbalize that, but you know what I mean. Like the wording's bizarre. I will say the concept's interesting, but it's the same problem of I don't think you need to say amnestic and then SCP number again. Well, this is weird because I complained about this yesterday, but you guys won't hear it till tomorrow. But I was talking about how I get why for a lot of contingency plans and things, but I'm kind of getting tired of like every single thing related to an SCP being numbered after that SCP. I feel like you should just say it's special amnestic and then just go off of that. Like it's amnestic A, it's amnestic B. You don't need to put the SCP number in there. That's a personal preference. Take Tan's word on that.
To be fair, we are reading these out loud, which is somewhat of a different experience.
Yeah, that's true as well. But that's just my personal opinion. Anything else from you, Tan?
I feel like there needs to be more of a narrative here. We've got the idea of sort of what this thing could have done. How did we find it? Like, how was it come? Maybe not where it's come from. If you don't want to tell that story, but it's like something that we can sort of get an idea of an example of how this affects people. Because it's very abstract at the moment. It says it will do this, it will do that, but it's like I've not seen shit.
And you could even do the stereotypical thing that people do of like making a chart of this D class did this, and then this is what they saw, and then like do a record of a couple of D classes what they saw under A, what one of them saw under B, maybe how they figured out about B.
Let me just chug some Y909.
Yeah. Like, just to make it, like Tan was saying, have a bit more of a story. Because right now it's basically, and again, it's not complete, but it's basically just description. Which I know the thing says description under it, but everyone knows that that's where the story part of the article is, unless you're doing, like, an addendum format.
Look at this guy. He reads a few SCPs, suddenly thinks he's a big shot.
A few! We've read over 100! Alright? I feel like I finally can say I get to have input on these, alright? We've read over, I feel like that's more than most people have read. All right, not to brag, but how many SCPs have you read? Well, wait, at least as many as me, plus more.
Yeah. We've all read the same ones, and 9 years of backlog prior. Over a third of my life.
You know what I mean? I feel like I've, at least to the average SCP fan, I've stocked up on how many I've read by now. But that's my criticism. That's because that was the instance of the chemical in that form. It's not an amnestic yet. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying describe it as the SCP gives off a special amnestic labeled amnestic A. But then, or I guess I see what you're saying. You need to deliberate it from class A amnestic, but I don't know. Okay, but how many people are all the way through the universe Hunter Spaffodora, sorry, Spataphora. No, I said it right the first time.
You've inhaled it.
I have. All right, I don't need to justify why I'm giving critiques. That's what I'm here for, all right? That's what I'm doing. That's my opinion.
So we've suddenly decided that we're reading this SCP as well.
What SCP?
This one here.
Oh, the one you wrote.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's probably going to suck.
Why don't you read it? Why don't you read it if you're so cool?
I hate reading them when you're the one controlling because you scroll at weird times.
Don't worry, I'll keep it still.
No, please. Okay. Item number, SCP-2874. Object class, Safe. I'm only doing it this once because it's your SCP. Special containment procedures. SCP-2874 is currently contained in Storage Unit 12, located at Site 11. SCP-2874 is to be kept in a sealed chamber at all times, which is to be guarded from the outside by two... wait, what? Parentheses 10?
Don't worry about it.
210 security personnel at all times. Due to its nature, no security cameras or viewing windows are to be present in SCP-2874's containment chamber. I don't know if that's part of your SCP. If it is, that's a clever way of changing up the format of people just repeating the number in parentheses, of that's where the differentiation occurs. No personnel are to visually observe 2874 at any time, whether directly or indirectly. Periodically, 2874's location in the containment chamber is to be confirmed through touch by a blindfolded member of 9 class? Did I read that right? There's a G class.
That's 9 class.
9 class personnel. In the event that a member of personnel becomes compromised by 2874, they are to be euthanized immediately. So already I think this thing either affects the mind or records. Because it's
Dr. Whitney, please send me on that Discord if you have a draft you want us to read.
Due to the risk that SCP-2874's effects present the possibility of spreading exponentially, in the event that personnel suspect an individual has been compromised by 2874 but cannot identify them, Site-08 is to be locked down immediately until the individual can be identified. Description. SCP-2874 is a large metallic cylinder with the words Don Burton.
And that links to 1437.
Okay.
Which
have we read that one?
that's the big hole in the ground.
Oh yeah, duh. Emblazoned on the top. Analysis has shown that 2874 is completely hollow and composed of iron, which displays no unusual properties.
Melvin Sherman, please. I'm doing a live stream. Go and make SCP, damn it. please, sir.
This guy, you.
Please, I'm doing my live stream.
Only you.
Please, sir.
Anime smile. Only you, Melvin Sherman.
And also try to do some GOI, dude. You need to try something new once. I'll do it later. I swear. Please.
This guy is some... Tanhoney, stop fucking being submissive about it. Tell this guy to screw off.
Sir, please. You can't say that about one of our 511 subscribers. We've only got 511 of them.
Yeah, but you're setting a precedent to be bullied by everyone who demands things of you, which is not what you want going forward.
Go and make FCP, damn it.
Any human being who visually observes...
That's my inner monologue when I'm in work.
Alright, are you good? You get the call out?
Yeah.
Any human being who visually observes... How else would you observe?
You listen to it.
2874 will become compromised and, at some point in the next 7 months, violently explode. Oh, wait, but that has nothing to do with, like, the weird number differences. Any individuals who observe this explosion will also become compromised by 2874 in the same way. Photographs and video recordings of these explosions have been tested and proven to have the same effects as direct observation. Oh, so it's like a mimetic, like, time bomb, basically.
Killer Queen.
Well, that's what it is, right? Like a mimetic time bomb? Okay. During that period, before a compromised individual explodes, they will experience a number of symptoms that will intensify the closer they are to denotation.
Detonation.
Detonation. I'm stupid. Detonation. Increased anxiety, paranoia, a desire to loiter in public areas, a sense of impending doom, severe depression. Dude, rip literally every fucking Gen Z and millennial. Hallucinations of disembodied voices informing the victim that they are going to explode. Okay, that one's unique. Hallucinations of numbers counting down 6, the victim exploding. Why does it keep putting numbers and stuff?
What numbers?
Oh, I get it! It's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's gonna explode at the end. Despite initial assumptions that these symptoms were a natural result of being compromised by 2874 and aware of the effects of such a situation, Fiverr testing has shown that symptoms also take hold in individuals who are compromised by SCP-2874 but are unaware of its effects. 2874 was first discovered in a damaged vessel theorized to be intended for spaceflight, nice, located at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean and recovered during construction of the redacted containment facility. The corpses of 3 humanoid entities were also recovered and are now stored separately at Site-02. During a security breach by hostile elements on blank blank blank, several members of personnel are believed to have been sent images of explosions caused by SCP-2874. Members of personnel who suspect they have been compromised... Wait, where's 1? Oh, Addendum 1. Nice. They have been compromised by SCP-2874 are urged to... And then you explode. That was very clever. I like it. So, as usual, you know, Tanhoney's a competent writer. All the grammar, the sentence structure, that's fine. This one lacks as much of a narrative, but I also want to clarify, not every fucking SCP article does have to be like a grandiose, intense story. Some of them can be simple.
Yeah,
and this one does its job. It's fine. It does its job of making you, oh, I get it, I'm the fucking thing. Which, depending on how immersed you are in the universe, can make you feel like, oh shit, or it can just make you feel like I did, like, haha, that was funny and clever. I'll give this one like 7 out of 10. I liked it. There's nothing wrong with it. Why I give it a lower rating? It's just because it's.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I'll tell you why I gave it a 6 out of 10. There's certain ones out there that deserve a score like this one. The 5 out of 10 I've given.
5 SCPs that are better for this kind of thing. But I would like to make like a tree.
You're free to like this one.
To be the one who corrects this.
0.
Yeah, that was cute. What's the title of this article?
It's Don Burton. Let me check that actually, because I think I had like the start of the countdown in the title actually.
Oh, because I was gonna say no, because 10 was the start of the countdown.
28. So Don Burton Explosive Divot 13E. No, it actually started at 12.
12? Where's 12?
Storage Unit 12, located at Site 11.
Oh, the famous countdown is 10 to 0, but I assume you couldn't get one that ended with 10.
Huh?
If you had gotten an SCP number that ended in 10, you could have started it
Oh,
there.
it's the title there, not the number.
Right. No, I know, but I'm saying like that would have been a cool thing to do if you could manage
Yeah.
it.
I probably could have managed it. I just didn't think of it.
Oh, but yeah, that was cool. So now
We have
finished
we have another one. Dr. Whitney sent in, I think.
Oh,
It's-
Dr. Whitney, thank you very much. Melvin Sherman says, I don't want someone read a SCP. I want you to write her a SCP.
It's alright.
For GOI, I want you to do a Parawatch
like
thing.
Well,
I can't believe you made Killer Queen a fucking SCP.
I'm getting fucking... Oh, Dr. Whitney comic?
A comic?
Comic
What?
book?
Let me see. What are you talking about? Whoa, this is so cool! Who's Dr. Whitney? Is that like a famous
In the
figure?
chat, the person in the chat who said they sent in something in is the famous
No,
Dr.
I know.
Whitney from
I know,
the
but is
Michael
this-
Collins show.
Listen, I know, but is this like a fucking... You know how there's like Dr. Bright or whatever? Is this like an SCP character as well?
Well, I don't believe so. Dr. Whitney, are you an SCP character?
So it says here you prefer to be called Grabnok the Destroyer. Is that correct? The next guy's you.
I actually go by Tom now.
Is that right? I'll have to change that. Alright, I think you know how this works. But bear with me while I go over this for the log.
Yeah, okay.
According to our records, you had your dimension shift on June 5th, 1987. Would you be willing to describe those events for me?
Sure thing, Peter. Sure, I was reading. It was pretty late, so I was sitting on my bed at the time. Then I started to feel lightheaded. Anyways, I liked the book, so I kept reading. But just as I was getting comfortable, everything went to shit.
Oh, no, T-Rex.
Pop.
Pop.
Oh, I like
So
I like the design of whatever this thing on the right is.
I like the T-Rex with a police siren on his head.
No, I like the guy on the right.
That's just you.
It's me.
He's just walking.
I
I
did-
want a picture of that.
I like the moth with the balloon.
Yeah, the moth is cool too. I want a picture of the one on the right, and I want it to be like a single picture of it, and it says when you walking, and then the sound clip. Wait, I'm messing it up. Do you know the sound clip I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Where the meme is like where, and then it goes do 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 do. Do you know the sound clip?
No.
Okay. I didn't get much of a look at what was. Oh, that's you. Sorry.
I didn't get much of a look at what's going on. Oh,
Oh, he's wearing a hat, not a siren.
I think I landed on my back. Maybe I didn't. When I looked up, it was just staring at me. I didn't know what it wanted. I know
Is
it.
this an SCP itself, or is this just
507 is a SCP, yeah, about a guy who like swaps between dimensions. Maybe we'll read him one episode.
Oh, cool.
Somehow I found the ability to move. Call it an instinct if you will. I kept running and it didn't follow. I didn't know why it didn't, but I didn't look back. Maybe
Aside dimension swapping, he's just like a guy, right?
yeah, maybe it just wanted to rip my shirt. Oh, I just got back from break. What was that about?
Oh no, some idiot almost got hit by a car, but there's something else I need to talk to you about. Wow.
Fuck. I'm hungry. He looks at chat.
And then there's a thing saying this is about halfway done. I really think it's cool.
Yeah, I like very nice art, very good art.
Yes, the art is awesome. I really love comics and manga formats of things, and I like towards the end I actually kind of got invested in the like weird surrealness. Of the
Look at this guy. He can't
the
call
universe.
things comics anymore.
I said comics and manga. What?
You doesn't sound like watching SpongeBob. Like, man, I love cartoons and anime.
What? No, I said comics and manga.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm making fun of you. Don't worry about it.
Okay. But yeah, I really like it. It's really, the art, like Tanine said, is really nice. And I kind of started to get invested in like the surrealness of the situation towards the end. So I'm excited to see where you go with this, Dr. Whitney.
Yes.
Sorry for confusing you for an SCP-OC. I can never tell anymore because there's like 3 million of them.
My name is Dr. Tanho. Welcome to my garden of delights.
Yeah, it kind of ends there. Massive work in progress. Oh, Dr. Whitney's in the chat. And
Yeah,
his
that's
profile,
what-
I think, is the more alien.
This is no secret. They gave it to me in the chat. I told you.
No, the second T-Rex that came later. I'm pretty sure that's his profile. It's fantastic. Dr. Whitney.
I can't believe we had the same author thing happen in the live stream.
Listen. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you start moving my Luigi?
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry.
Dr. Whitney, I will give you my Nickelodeon's Kid Choice Award.
Hold on. If you want to say something to the chat. I'm gonna make you big for this.
Okay. Hello, it's me, Big Luigi. Like that?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat because I want to see what that looks like in a second.
Let me return you back.
I see. I'm starting to move. Did you make me big? Wait, where is it? Oh. Yeah, we're finally VTubers. We did it. Gonna make $1 million. All right, Tan. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do some Q&A? Do you want to do our special thing?
Some Q&A. Let's do some Q&A. I want to answer some questions.
Q&A. All right, so everyone start typing your questions in the chat.
I'll answer them all at the same time.
No, don't do that. That's a really annoying gimmick.
I'll speak in tongues to answer them all simultaneously.
No, you guys start writing your questions, and because there's a delay, I'll get the ball rolling with the first question.
Ask me a question, or I'll kill you.
Tan Honey, who is your favorite United States president, and why?
None of them are that good.
What?
None of them are that good. I don't think I have a favorite.
I'm sorry. Who did you make a fate servant after?
Well, I guess George Washington's like the original. So, I guess if I had to pick one, I guess he did the thing in the river.
Lon Lang, it says Q. What is A?
Q.
Clever joke if you're making one, but it's just question and answer.
Banker Paul asks me why. Why not?
Is he talking about SCP-5000? Isn't that what you said it's called?
Yeah, it's called why. Why not?
Yeah. I am also going to name something.
Why did they do it?
The
answer is in the article. What's network says, how are you? What? I'm doing good. I'm pretty good. I've been having a good day today. I'm a little bit tired, but that's all it is. It's the busy life of not doing much all day.
Really? I thought you had work today.
Yeah, but I'm being modest.
Okay, well, be less modest. How was work?
I was interacting with the British
public.
I dislike the British public.
Why?
Because I have to interact with them on a daily basis for great lengths.
And interacting with them is unpleasant.
It is unpleasant. I would say they are generally unpleasant.
Why are they unpleasant?
Because I'm the one who makes them pay for their internet.
All right. This is what prying words out of Tan Honey feels like in real time.
So,
all right, so we've got a couple questions stocked up now. Why did you make the... Oh, Banker's still asking about 5,000.
Yeah, you say we've got some, we've got one.
Well, Dr. I thought Dr. Whitney was asking a question. They were just talking about the T-Rex.
Because I am the author. All my characters are like simple puppets, and I can make them dance as I like.
Me when I make a roleplay character.
How does Darnell compare then? How does Darnell compare to the British public? He's not British, but he is American, so he's not without sin.
I think Tan Honey likes me all right. I mean, he invited me to do this podcast with him.
That's what you think.
We've been friends for... I genuinely lose track of the years. I think 4 years.
4 years. Almost a third of my life. No, it's not almost a third of my life.
Not even close to a third of your life. It's a sixth of your life. Half of that. 4 times 6 is 24.
Dr. Whitney wants to know how to avoid the IRS. You need to come to Tammany Towers, which is a tax-neutral zone.
Do they even have the IRS in Britain? Don't you have your own thing?
Yeah, we have, like, the thing. Hunter Spadafore says, is that it? In regards to Darnell being, like, the British public, yes, he's not British.
No, I mean, I think they want to know how you feel about me, Tim. If you're expecting a heartfelt description, you're not going to get one.
Darnell?
We're friends. That's all there is.
My friend?
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations on writing in general?
I was going to say something, but I guess you don't want it.
Oh, okay, no, I want to hear it. Tell me.
Darnell.
Go ahead.
Tannen, he puts his hand on your shoulder. You can
Wait,
die.
are you going to move Emil over to Luigi?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
You gotta fucking do the VTuber bit all the way through. Yeah, Tin when he puts his hand on my shoulder.
You can die now.
Thank you. Yukata. Have you seen that meme of like... never mind, it's too niche to explain. I'll say it later.
We'll see how tired.
I'm only now seeing Emil walk over on the street.
witnessed the live murder of Darnell.
I can't believe it. He finally ended my existence. I'm being sucked below the screen. I'm sorry, I'm watching this in real time. This is probably really weird content.
So,
Okay.
Andy Mars has an actual question. Do you have any recommendations on writing in general? I like writing things that I find fun. I don't know if other people will find them fun, but it's hard to explain.
If I had some, sorry, go ahead. You finish.
So basically, if I have fun, I only write something if I enjoy writing it. Usually, if I don't, I won't do it.
I will say, for writing, I assume you mean SCP because a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of it depends on what you're writing for.
Yeah, for example,
Tanhoney-
my SCP writing process is very different from April Space writing process.
Right. Tanhoney mentioned this in his interview with Whiteguard, which you all should go check out his interviewing series. Tanhoney, you mentioned, and I agree with you, that a lot of people, and I think this happens in a lot of forms of writing, they come up with a concept, but then they run out of steam because they don't know where they want to go with it. You need a narrative.
That is what
The
happened
concept's a
with
great
the
place to
precursor
start.
to April Space. Yeah, I think it threw nearly
Exactly.
enough.
A concept is a great place to start, but the actual point of your story, what is both going to keep you interested in writing it and your audience in reading it, is the narrative, whatever that is, whether it's character focused, world building focused, plot focused. That's what really drives it. Like, you can have cool, epic space anime, but if you don't know where you're going with that, then it's not going to go anywhere. I also think, in terms of writing, that you should. I think a lot of the best characters have bits of yourselves put in. I don't think you should make every character a you write in. In fact, I would say the opposite of that. But I think you're going to be able to write a character better if you can understand the way they're thinking of. Even if it's not the way you think, if you can understand their mindset, it's going to come across better than if you try to write a straw man of something that you don't understand. Why are you so big on stream now? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, for example, if you are writing a villain, even if you don't agree with what he's
They're
doing,
always
his motivation,
they have to be a
write
character.
yeah. Write a motivation that makes sense to you in your head. Don't just be like, oh, I'm evil because I hate this thing or that thing. You need to make them a character to make them interesting. Or if you're writing a protagonist, give them reasonable flaws and make them think like a person does instead of just a hero that can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Absolutely.
But in general,
Everyone has to feel
yes.
like an actual, if not a person, then a character that you could conceivably root for, I think.
Yes. In some way or another. And that doesn't mean every villain needs to be like a tragic, sympathetic backstory, but they just
Absolutely
need to
not.
have
That actually pisses me
line
off.
they just need a line of thinking that makes sense outside of I am evil. Like, my goal is X, and this is why I'm doing it. You can be like, that's repulsive, but I understand that that thing makes sense for your goal and why you want your goal. I think. But yeah, other than that, big general writing tip we already went over is have a narrative. Don't just have a concept. Because I think most people write their concept and they just run with it and then they're like, fuck, I don't know what to write. And then they give up on it. I've seen so many people start writing awesome things and then they don't finish it because they didn't know where they were going to go. And it's such a shame to see. So take the time to brainstorm your narrative. A lot of people don't actually brainstorm or like, that's an... Okay, sorry. I have too many thoughts in my head at once. ADHD. Okay.
One at a time.
Next writing tip, edit. Everyone says edit. Obviously, people are like, oh, yeah, I edit. And to be fair, I think the SCP community, I think you guys who write in here are really good because the first thing you guys almost always do is get crit. You don't usually cold post. But a lot of people say they edit their work, but they really don't. They just write it and then they post it. If you actually... And even Tanhoney admits he has this. Like, sometimes when we read Ethereal Space, he'll find a typing thing and he'll change it or a quick way to reword. And
I want to be completely honest. The majority of my SCPs, I do not edit.
Yeah, and see, Tanhoney may be a good writer, but I think even he would acknowledge that he could even improve further if he were to go back and edit. I think it's always important to go read your work, go through...
I read it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that improves on its own, but don't just, like, write and then vomit it out. Get someone to crit it, review it yourself, be honest and admit that you can always be improving, and you're going to do a lot better. So... People are asking more about writing now, but I want to go back to some of the questions before. Banker Paul says, you think your friendship excuses your betrayal? I don't know what you're referring to.
I think it means when I stabbed you in the back and killed you.
Oh.
Live on stream.
Killer Gamer, Killer says, can you tell me, were you actually mad about the oh, that's why he hasn't shown you 5,000 joke. I honestly want to know. Tanhoney is literally never mad about.
I don't know what you're talking about, so I presume I wasn't mad about it.
In the chat, he made a joke about like because I said Tanhoney only shows me good SCPs, and Killer said, "Oh, that's why he hasn't shown you 5,000," and you said you get one. I will tell you now, I've known Tanhoney 4 years. I've seen him actually mad twice, and both times it didn't last long, and he was like apologizing profusely about it. He likes to like, you know, we do the fake Chuny thing, like, oh, I'll kill you, but he does not care. You are likely to not offend him unless you're like actively berating him for no reason, which I doubt any of you would do, because that's not how normal humans interact with each other. Dr. Whitney said, "What is that exactly?"
That's Killer One Gamer One.
Oh yeah. Banker Paul says, "Cue the Mario death tune." The interview Hunter
It's on Interviewing Icon series on the SCP Wiki. It's called that because they interview titans of the writing industry, like Tanhoney.
They really do, though. They have like Cactus, they have you, they had some other guy I hadn't heard of, but White Guard said.
Wow.
Hunter Spataphora showed Darnell some SCP-5000 memes. Dude, that's honestly the mark of like your writing being successful in my eyes is if people make memes. Like the most proud moment I had when I'm running my D&D game is when my players started making memes about it. I would love to see some 5,000 memes, unless you think they would spoil me.
They will probably spoil you.
Okay. Banker Paul says, "I remember thinking of an SCP concept around a year and a half ago and then never did anything with it." Yeah, exactly. Andy Ma, insightful things. Hunter Spataphora. Okay, back to writing. So you need a narrative in mind when writing an SCP? Hard to think about that when your only ideas are just things, which is 2 Series 1.
Narratives, well, I think, come about naturally when you think about how these things interact with the world. Because it's like, let's say you've got a matte light toaster, and the toaster, when you put it on something, it toasts the surface of it. Now, if I just wrote that down as that would be shit. But if I wrote it down and told you about how it like started a big fire and it was a big situation and people did some stuff and stopped the toaster from burning down the place, that's a story now. It's a narrative. It's not a very good narrative, but...
Right, and that would be an example of like a world building or maybe a plot narrative. Some narratives can revolve around character stories, some around an event that happened, some around building up a larger world around. Like one we read on the podcast you'll hear tomorrow that kind of built around the lore of like Sarkix and Church of the Broken God. There's a lot, like, not every narrative has to be the exact same kind of thing. Or you can be creative and do, like, format screws or even do something like the time bomb that Tan posted. Like, as long as your thing has a story, even if it's not a very complex one, it's going to be infinitely better than if it's just an idea. As for your question, hard to think about things when your only ideas are just things, which is 2 Series 1. Another thing about thinking is I think a lot of people... are used to, if they can't think of something off the top of their head or pick something up quickly, they think, oh, I'm just no good at that. Writing is a process. It takes a lot of time. And I'll tell you now, Tanhoney is a good writer and he's a good friend, but I think he would agree with me that when he probably first started writing, it wasn't very good. I think he's mentioned his first SCP he removed, Chocolate Goldfish, was total ass.
Which is now back on the
Wiki. He didn't just give up. He kept thinking of ideas. He kept improving. Writing, like any skill, is something you work at. Just because you don't naturally pick it up or your original ideas aren't good, if you doesn't mean that you should just say, oh, I'm bad and this is not my thing. It takes effort. It takes time. It takes really just doing, I think, is the best way of learning most things. But, of course, you can study up, read other stuff. But I would say if you want to be a writer, Spataphore, don't give up just because your only ideas right now are things that you don't think would work. Try and keep pursuing those lines of thought. Force yourself to keep trying to brainstorm ideas, come up with things. Take inspiration from real life, things you see in other places, and kind of roll with ideas you have based on those.
Yes.
Yes, that kind of thing.
Banker Paul says, I mean, it doesn't have to be narrative, just make it entertaining instead of his thing. Yeah, entertainment is the biggest thing. If it's a good magic item, I'll upvote it, I don't care.
Yeah. What do you do when life gives you lemons, asks Lost Network.
I kill it.
Oh. Is Brett still here, or did he just come to say hi and bail?
I don't know. Melvin Sherman says just write a fucking SCP.
When did you say that? He hasn't talked in a while.
My #1 fan, Melvin Sherman, is here.
I didn't see that. Where's that at?
It's there. It's just under Banker Paul asking if Brent's still here.
Is Bread still there? No, that's Killer. I don't see his thing. Wait, what? Did he block me or something?
What are you talking about?
I don't... You said... I see Banker Paul. Is Bread still there? Then under him is Killer. I don't see a message at all.
Did he block you?
I don't know. Banker Paul... I guess not. Let's get Bread. Bread is in the toaster. Oh, wait, right at blah, blah, blah. Okay, my joke. Dr. Whitney, I like to think about what do I want to say with this SCP? What do you want the takeaway to be?
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
That's a great process, Dr. Whitney. And I think that's what you need to do going forward with writing. Lonling also said I roasted Rounderhouse. I didn't mean to. I don't remember people's names in this community. Outside our server.
Oh, I think no one but me is seeing Melvin's comments because all of them have swears in them.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's weird that only you can see it. You know what it might be? Depending on what he said, YouTube might have marked it spam, and you have to approve it as a mod.
Do it, GOI. Don't Melvin, please.
All right, I'm gonna say right now, Melvin, please shut the hell up.
Melvin, if you keep saying the same two things, I will have to put you in timeout for a little bit. I don't want to, but I will.
Yeah. Okay. Banker Paul, I wanted him to be here. SP, I could say let's put him in toaster. Lon Langlin says like a theme. Yeah. The idea is, I guess, saying it had to be a narrative is the wrong idea. The thing is, it has to be more than just idea. It has to have a concept, whether that's a theme, a narrative, a takeaway you want the audience to have. It has to be more than just the idea. So an idea is epic in space. A narrative is this character goes on a journey to prove himself to his federation. Or a theme would be this space is linked to several other different stories that all pull together. Or a takeaway would be the moral of the story is
chips and fish.
Don't get kidnapped by people in space. Sorry, these are shitty examples, but you know what I mean. The point is, an idea is
these things that happen to you.
No.
This is how you were recruited.
This is my vague fucking example. The point is, you need to have more than just an idea, or no one's gonna give a shit because it's not interesting. That's just the honest truth. You can have the coolest idea in the 7 seas, like taking this from a RuneSmith video, like eldritch gods that belch out worlds and they're all chained to like a sea in space. But if you don't write anything around that, no matter how cool your idea or setting is, yeah, who cares?
It's like I can say like Yolgman is up there making the hammer of the gods with his tongue out. If no one's there to see it, so
does it make a ding?
Yeah.
Kirsten Napping says, "Yo, found your podcast a week ago, and I love the way you guys cover SCPs. It's a good break from more serious covers."
Thank you.
Thank you. I really like injecting humor into it as well. I think it makes it more fun to read because honestly. And there's nothing wrong with more serious SCP readings, but like realistically, the way I go about my life and the way I like talk to Tan, we're casual. We make jokes about things, and I think a lot of people do. And I think that's a more natural way to read it than if we tried to be super serious about it. Especially because the original concept of discovering SCP is my reactions, and that's just how I react to stuff usually. Unless I'm reading something like really gritty, like Berserk or whatever, I don't really like. You know, I'm usually pretty casual, or I make like. Quips about stuff. I'm not
good
like,
to see you, Dr. Whitney.
Epic story. You know what I mean? That's just not me. I don't see Melvin either. Blah, blah, blah. There he is. There it is. I see one.
So Fancy Pants
Rounderhouse
asks, what do you think of the Greenlight Press on the Wiki? I am not familiar with the current way it works. I have never used the forum for crit, so I've always gone either through the IFC or through one of the Discords for criticism there, so I'm a bit detached from that whole thing, so I don't really know. It seems a bit complicated, but I don't want to judge because I've never used it.
Yeah, and I also have no clue what the fuck that is. Dr. Whitney says, all right, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get lunch. Thank you for all the feedback. It's really cool to see that you hit 500. Hope to see you at 1,000 or more soon. Thank you, Dr. Whitney. Your comic was excellent. Thank you for your support. And to everyone, seriously.
Love your art. Love your art. You're so good.
I
always am in awe of good artists.
I've always had the assumption that philosophical thoughts are powerful, immersive elements. Would that be a good narrative to build around?
If you can have a good way of presenting those philosophical thoughts to us, yeah. If it's just
I agree. Yes. Sorry, Tana. I didn't mean to.
Banker Paul says cold posting all the way. I would never cold post and tell you.
Like I don't find like I like reading about philosophy a little bit, but I don't find like things that are all about philosophy that interesting. But for example, I have one of my best friends in the real world.
Is it me?
Outside of the internet. No, you're not. I don't know you.
You're not real, is what you're gonna say.
One of my friends, all he does is talk about philosophy all day, and that's fine. He's into that. I think he would love something like that. I think there are people that do. That's another important thing is no matter what narrative you write, not everyone is gonna like it. And I don't mean like, there will obviously always be people, depending on how popular it gets, that will hate it. But just because people don't like it doesn't mean it's bad. People have different tastes. Like, for example, I really love the historical lore and like the religious SCPs, and I don't really like the ones that are like but I don't really like the ones that are like, oh, it's a robot that was made by this government in World War II to defeat the Russians, like whatever.
I have to be honest, I do enjoy that sort of shit.
And that's fine. See, Tan and I have different tastes. That doesn't make that SCP bad because I don't like it. People just think of things differently. So keep that in mind when you're writing your narrative. Just write what you like, because if you try to write something that pleases everyone, I'll tell you that'll never happen. You'll just end up writing a really boring, generic story that doesn't step on any toes whatsoever. So just write what you are into. Don't worry about too much if someone you look up to doesn't like it. Always in awe of good artists. Tanhoney, a good artist. Tanhoney, how about you draw something in MS Paint for us while I start reading some more questions?
I did try and get MS Paint so OBS wouldn't let me sort of put it on it, so it was all ordeal.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Cold posting all the way.
I also want to say, how fucking cool is Emil's character design? I fucking love Nier character design.
They are. I can't wait for the Nier remake to come out. I'm gonna play.
There's like a mobile game coming out as well with a bunch of new characters.
Right, a new one aside from Sino.
Yeah, it's not Sino.
Get this, Tan got me. He was like, "Oh, not Tan." He's like, "Oh, Donnell, play this new fucking Yoko Taro gacha with me that's coming out in English." I was like, "Sure," and then he like dipped it after 3 days, and I got like involved heavily in this guild for months and couldn't get my way out because of this fucker. As for Nier, I think when the remaster comes out, if it's on PC, if you want, we could do like a let's play. But
absolutely, yeah.
Because I haven't played much Nier games. I own Nier Automata, but I've never finished it. We were gonna do a playthrough of it, and we recorded 2.5 hours, and then we lost it all because we didn't know how OBS worked yet. So we scrapped that. But I've always been kind of interested in the aesthetic of the world. I really enjoyed what I've seen of it, and you, I know, are a huge fan. So it would kind of be the same idea of like you already know everything, and I'm reacting, which is sort of what our podcast is. Baker Paul says, I just want the truth.
You'll never get it, truth.
Killer says, what are you doing, Steptan?
Don't worry, you weren't looking at the stream, right?
What?
Don't worry about it. Fancy Pants says, how to write in a way to make the reader get interested in your topic. So, it depends on what you're writing, I would say. If it's a normal story, characters are very vital to my personal writing process. Donnell's told me I have a very character-based sort of writing style. So whatever your strength is, I would say go for. If you like writing characters, make some interesting characters. If you enjoy the world, present the world in an interesting way to us, the reader, even. And basically, that is if you are enjoying writing it, I will enjoy reading it most likely.
I will say, always play to your strengths or your interests, and then keep working on your interests until they become your strengths. So, for example, Lonling. We read one of his drafts earlier. Lonling is an amazing world builder, great with language stuff. I wouldn't say he's like bad at characters. I haven't read his character stuff, but I think he recognizes characters aren't his strong suit. So he focuses on what he's really good at, and his SCPs are really good as a result. And they appeal to people who are into that type of like writing. And Tanhoney is a more character-driven person. For me, I also kind of like the story of characters, or sometimes I like the plot of an overarching series of events, but mostly I'm a character guy. You guys probably won't see me write a lot because I don't really write for communities. I mostly just do role play writing. I've done a lot of play-by-post in the past, or writing D&D stuff. But yeah, just play to your strengths, or if you have something you want to be good at, just keep working on that till you're good at it, and then play to that. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to have the greatest characters, the greatest plot, the greatest everything. I'm not saying make those things bad, but just build around what you want to care about, I think, when you're writing for SCP. If you're writing a big Hollywood blockbuster movie, or like some insane book series you want to make $1 billion, then sure, master everything. But for SCP, just focus on the thing you are interested or you're good at, and make that the central part of your article, because that's all you really need for an SCP, I think. Unless you're doing something insane like 5,000 or 1730.
Yeah.
Eli A, which by the way is my real life best friend I was talking about earlier, who digs philosophy stuff, says you can always start a story with a strong theme in mind and find characters and worlds to play them out. Hello, Eli. Tan, you know Eli from the old 8 days. Yes. Very good to see you. Oh my god. Melvin Sherman. Oh, by the way, just write her a GOI thing and just do that.
Just to simply do it.
Have you ever written a group of interest?
I haven't.
There was a stats
I
page.
I haven't written a GUI format anything now.
Can we just kick this guy out of the chat?
I'm sorry, Melvin. I'll have to time you out for a little bit because I did say.
This guy, he's got to be trolling, or just like, I don't understand.
300 seconds there. I'm sorry, Melvin. It's like all yellow.
300 seconds. It's a fucking 5-minute chill, dude. You're good. He's being insane. I'll have to research GOC formats then. I'm not familiar with them. That's Global Cult Coalition, right?
Yeah, Hunter Spanifour was mentioning their idea. So, my current thing is intelligence immune to reality bending that believes it should destroy reality benders despite the fact it's still murder. Yeah, no, it sounds interesting. I like to see it.
It could be very cool. I would dig something like that. Anyone else got any more questions? Or shall we move to a new segment? I mean, we'll probably, if you have questions throughout the stream, feel free to ask, because there'll be times where Tan is doing something and I'll be able to answer, or vice versa. But like, we can move on to a new section.
The new section is Tanhoney goes to the toilet very quickly. So I will mute for a second and Darnell entertain these people for a minute.
But there's no questions for me to... All right, well, Tanhoney's gone for a minute. So for this time, there's a little bit of a delay, but you guys have a chance right now to ask questions about Tan that I will answer without his interruption. I know there's a delay, but be as quick as you can. I'll try to get through this before he comes back. I'm actually excited to see what you guys want to know about him as someone who's been his friend for a hot minute. Kirsten, you asked what's with Luigi. Tanhoney, like 10 minutes before the stream started, said, hey, look at this. I learned how to make a PNG on the thing. You were talking about VTubers. We'll do this as a thing. Who do you want to be? And I have like a little mock-up of me, but it wasn't transparent. So I was like, oh, fuck. What do I got to pick out? And I eventually was like, Luigi. Or no, I was like, I was trying to find like some random anime character because I was talking about anime. And Tan's like, what about Luigi as a joke? Because he said I had big Luigi energy. And I was like, okay, sure. So we put Luigi. Don't know how bad does Tanhoney torture you? Actually, he's pretty good to me. The one thing I would say is sometimes if you want to have a serious conversation with him, don't. Unless you're insanely close to him and it's the right mood, you're not going to get that out of that. But like as a friend, he's a good friend. He's a really funny guy to hang out with. But you know, he's not the guy you go to when you're like having a serious life problem, which is fine. That's not everyone's responsibility. But I wouldn't say he tortures me. Although he does, every time you start a call with him, he spends like the first 5 minutes doing a bit, and you gotta wait for the bit to end before the call really starts. Have you read any WWs? I am not sure what a WW is, Andy. Please inform me. Darnell, what does Tanhoney do on the toilet? Probably pees and poops. Darnell, how does it feel? It hurts, always. Cold. Have you ever met Tanhoney face to face? Tanhoney is a very, very private guy. I've only ever seen like 2 pictures of him, one modern that I don't remember and one from his younger days that I do have saved. But neither of us own a webcam, and he is an ocean away, so we haven't got the chance. But we have made plans to meet up at some point. We're pretty close. It's pretty much set in stone. I imagine it'll happen. But otherwise, we've mainly communicated over the internet. He knows exactly what I look like. I'm not shy about showing my pictures, but my last reference that I have on hand of him was when he was in like high school, I think. So it's very outdated. Eli says Darnell's going to become a VTuber, all for the money. Killer says Darnell doesn't have a consistent avatar, so for all I know, he might be a spider. Are you a spider? No, but spiders are based. As for a consistent avatar, I do have like a little cutesy anime mock-up of me that we might be using with a special project soon that will, from then on, act as my avatar. But I didn't have that ready at the moment, and it's not transparent, so we went with Luigi. Hunter Spetafor says, Darnell, will you write for the SCP Wiki? Do you have an idea or not yet? I've come up with a few ideas, but I didn't have a narrative. So I've like either scrapped them or saved them for later. I would say don't count on me writing for the SCP Wiki in the foreseeable future. If I were to write, it would probably be a collaboration with Tan. Maybe if we like finish the crystal bird thing we were doing. Killer, you asked if I was a spider again. I already said no. Hunter Spetafor says, how did you meet Tanhoney if not face to face?
Hi.
So Tanhoney and I, hello, and Eli actually in the chat, we all used to be in this Fate Stay Night roleplay. And I don't remember the exact circumstances, but I remember Tanhoney came in and all he would do is talk about Zdun, which was like this weird Russian statue, but he was super funny in voice chat and he was a great writer. And I was like, I fucking love this guy. We're going to be best friends. And I joined his Grail War. He was like a DM for like a little play-by-post game. And it was fucking amazing. Tanhoney I already liked as a guy. He was like a cool friend. But like I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm so into the story. I'm so excited to see what goes on with my character. And then right at the peak of my character's climax, Tanhoney said, "Sorry guys, but I'm going to be putting this on hiatus." That was 4 years ago. The hiatus has never ended. I don't think it will. I think he deleted the server, and he totally blue-balled me. But we still were friends. We hung out for a while. Then some stuff happened, blah, blah, blah. We didn't talk for a little bit. Like, occasionally we'd message each other. Tan would be like, hey, read this thing. Or I'd be like, how's your life going? Yada, yada. And then a little over a year ago, I think, Tan, does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
He messaged me. He was like, hey, I want to do a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure roleplay. Do you want to play? And I was like, you know me. I fucking love JoJo's. I've ran one before. Absolutely. And from there, we just started talking again, hanging out like every day. And then one day he was like, hey, Darnell, you know that SCP thing I write for? And I was like, oh, yeah, you've shown me some of those things. He's like, you don't really know anything about that, right? And I was like, I don't fucking know anything. And he's like, how would you like to do a YouTube series? And like our premise would be like me running you through stuff and you reacting. And I was like, that sounds really cool and it'd be funny. And I know we get along fine. We have a good rapport, so that'd be based. And then we started that about 6 months ago from yesterday.
Yeah. Wait, really?
Yeah.
It's our 6 month and a day anniversary!
Absolutely. Yeah, what? I think our first video popped up on March 24th.
Popped up, like, we didn't upload it, it just appeared.
Yeah, yeah, because it was an anomaly. The Foundation is yet to quarantine us. Okay, then I'll draw you a spider. Sorry for asking twice, you're fine. Banker Paul says, you still haven't finished the Crystal Bird. In theory, I think you could call it finished, but we wanted to do addendums for it.
Yeah,
we were going to do an addendum section of the video. We just keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, we just haven't got time.
Lost Network said, can I send a mock-up of an SCP to your Twitter? I assume you mean the Tam's Twitter. Absolutely. Banker Paul says no.
What exactly is a mock-up?
Lost Network's an artist, so I assume she like drew something.
Yes, please.
Eli asks, when are you coming off hiatus, Tan? That's a good question, Tan. When? When do I get to find out what happened to Jeb Bush, my precious character? I need to know.
It seems like I've gathered all my enemies in one place, just as planned.
He's about to drop the bomb. Eli says I'm gonna have to revoke your GM role. Have you even been on the Fate server? I know you're probably in it, but have you like looked in it in years?
I glance.
You don't like still roleplay there though, right?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Killer says it just popped up from where? Who knows? Hunter Spataphora says, I should draw a new avatar for myself. My current avatar is a picture I drew 10 years ago, and the photo is in 480p.
Let's get you a Taro face.
Yeah, obviously.
Will Zed wants to know if we'll ever read some SPCs. We will. Yes, we will.
What's an SPC?
Don't you worry your pretty little head about what
that wasn't just a typo. That's a legit thing. Jeb Bush went on to become... Yeah, in the best timeline he did. Jeb Bush did become the president of the United States and the president of England, or whatever the fuck you have, prime minister. Did I ever show you that meme, Tan? Of like, I didn't want to show it immediately because I knew there were like hard feelings, but after the last British election, someone made a meme of like the British candidates and like electing 0%, and then Jeb Bush 100% taking over all of England.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
Jeb Bush. And in the best timeline right now, he is king of the world.
Melvin Sherman, it's okay.
Oh, Lost said they tried to write something. I assume a draft, perhaps, that we could read if you want to go back to drafts.
Yeah, sure. If you can deliver it to me through method. I forgive you, Melvin.
At some point, we want to move on to the fun, epic concept we had, though, right, Tan? Whenever you want to do that. Wait, have we really only been streaming for 13 minutes, or is there a lag?
1 hour 80. Are you... Of course we've not been streaming for 13 minutes. Okay. What are you talking about?
My thing says started streaming 13 minutes ago, but I assume it just didn't refresh. How long have we been streaming for?
1 hour and 18 minutes, and 22 seconds, 23 seconds, 24 seconds, 25 seconds, 26 seconds.
Okay. SPC became legit after people made the typo so many times. Is that special procedure containment? What does that stand for?
Don't worry about it.
SPC is more legit than SCP. Now I'm fucking curious. Jeb is the true heir to the British throne, son of Bonnie Prince Charles. Oh, Melvin Sherman said, I am so
I know,
sorry.
I forgive you, Melvin.
Oh, what a Christ-like figure you are, Tanhoney, for your forgiveness.
My Judas.
He's just sitting here. Oh All the people from the Discord sitting around the fucking table telling like my children.
One of you will betray me. Please do not spoil SPC Hunter Spadafora.
Melvin has like a knife that says "write a GOI" thing on it. Oh, that's funny. Maybe I'll just take a new photo of my picture. I can't see your picture from now. It won't let me zoom in like in the comments, but I'll need to.
Oh, a brawl's breaking out. Watch, they're gonna fight.
Who's breaking?
A brawl's breaking out. Watch, they're gonna fight each other for our amusement.
Who?
The chat.
No one's fighting. They just said no spoilers. Shaking my head.
No, someone's gonna throw a fist in a minute. Hold on, my dog wants to exit this room.
Don't spoil anything. At the same time, though, obviously don't spoil anything. Always covering spoiler tags, but it drives me nuts when people start talking in the general chat of the Discord with spoiler tags. Huge pet peeve. Just keep that to SCP discussion, because I get like actually upset about that. It drives me so insane.
Hi.
But yeah. Hey, what did you go do?
I let my dog out the room.
Aw, cute dog.
You don't know
show
that.
A picture of your to celebrate 500 subs. You should take a picture of your dog and show it to everyone.
I'll take a picture of myself.
If you were waiting for my final say, I already said Spatafor.
I can't believe you didn't even fucking react to my threat of a face reveal.
What was your face reveal?
I said I was going to take a picture of myself, but I guess you don't care, so I'm not going to.
No, I do want to care. I'd love to see what you look like.
Lost Network, you seem to have sent me a link on Twitter, but I do not have a permission to access it.
Oh, they probably didn't set it to let people with this link view. They probably just sent you the view of their doc. But Tan, no, send the picture. I really want to see what you look like in the modern day.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a picture of myself right now on my phone, and I'll send it, and then view it on... I'll post it on Twitter for you.
Are you being dead ass?
Yeah. I'll post a picture of myself.
Excited. It's probably not going to be him. It's probably going to be fucking Stune or something. I don't trust us at all.
Why, you don't trust your co-host with anything. After all I've done...
every time you say something to me without any hint of like joke or mockery in your voice, it always turns out to be a trick. Without a doubt. It's going to be a meal or something. I can tell.
It's not a meal, I swear. I swear to God.
I don't... You better keep that then, boy. We want to see the puppy, Kirsten says. I believe we have
all...
the dog picture.
It's like fucking Mandalorian. I would like to see the baby.
Looks at Hinter. Bad luck for that guy. Hunter.
I love Hinter.
People are role-playing in the chat. Banker Paul charges straight at Hinter with...
Oh my god. Yeah, kill him! Kill him!
The fucking Aster. That brings me back to the IRC days. I go crashing with him to the ground and unleash my full fury on him.
I'm gonna post it on Twitter for my viewers.
There are exactly there are only 2 times people still use asterisk role-playing. On IRC chat or in my DMs with Tan. You guys, so you don't know this. I mentioned me and Tan met on a role-playing server. One of the reasons I fell in love with him is every now and then in a general chat, Tan?
You what? You fell in what?
Oh, nothing. Every now and then in like a general chat, Tan would like asterisks do a chuny roleplay thing, and then I would just respond, and then we would spend like a half hour doing a fucking chuny scene in the general chat, and everyone would be like, what the fuck is going on? And we just eventually we decide to end it. Do you remember those days?
I do, yes. It seems to be happening in the chat here.
Yeah, I know. Hey Hunter, are you okay? Oh god, no. We're so off track in the chat. Why are people role-playing in the chat?
I've posted on my Twitter the image of myself.
Alright, I want to see it. Pull it up, pull it up.
Let me see.
I know it's not you.
Let me get the Twitter post up here for my viewers.
Let's see how fast this dude can type Twitter before something shady pops up.
Just get that up here for my friends.
Alright, I am waiting. I don't see anything in the Discord stream. Oh my god. Fucking knew it. Some bullshit. Can you at least show us a picture of the dog?
Oh, the dog is left.
Oh my god, look how messy your desk is.
That's just chips in the wood, that's not mess.
No, I mean like... I can see like a mug and then another glass.
That's not a mug.
What is that? That says yo in the back.
that's my module.
It's a fucking mug.
But
You
we
probably
have
have, like,
Lot Network has
glass.
sent us a thing to look through, an idea, a mock-up.
Wait, what about the dog picture?
There's no dog picture. The dog has left. I do not have access to it.
All right,
So.
so are you telling me you don't have any pictures of your dog on your phone that you can upload?
This is not about the dog.
Okay. All right, so after this mock-up, are we going to do the special idea we came up with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Story ideas. A story about two kids from another universe. One of the kids, Casey, decides to go to one place that could help her figure out what's going on with her friend. She tries to get him to go with her, but he refuses. That's when he found out his powers. Scared, Casey runs away from him.
Hold on, can you slow down your reading? You're like losing me a little bit.
Sorry. Story ideas. A story about two kids from another universe. One of the kids, Casey, decides to go to the one place that could help her figure out what's going on with her friend. She tries to get him to go with her, but he refuses, and that's when they found out about his powers. I'm a bit confused, because if that's when they found out the powers, why does she know something's going on with her friend?
Yeah.
Scared, Casey runs away from him. She goes to the Foundation. They're confused on how she found out where they were. She tries to explain how she knew. They end up putting her in light containment. They put her in containment because she knows too much about the Foundation, even more than some level 4 personnel. How does she... Oh, I guess I should talk about how and why of Casey and her friend. So Casey and Jackson, they're from a world where the Foundation is just some stories written on the internet, which Casey's a big fan of. Jackson, not so much, but being deeply in love with her, tries to find out more about these stories. On a field trip to the Tower of London, they get lost and end up in Alagada. Casey wanders off almost instantly, but Jackson seems to be unaffected, so he tries to follow her. Casey is drawn to a building. It seems to be a library. Inside the library, she walks over to a door. And
Sorry, I wasn't laughing to make fun of. I just love the idea of like someone's a big SCP fan person, and the guy's like, I don't give a fuck about this, but I really like you, so I'm gonna pretend I do, because I've done that like 18,000 times.
Yeah, there's an entire podcast based around it.
Yeah. Dan, you are not a girl I like. But no, that's like such a guy thing to do. Be like, oh, this intense lore that I literally couldn't care less. I guess I'll memorize it all now.
Casey's drawn to a building. It seems to be a library. Inside the library, she walks over to a door and just stares at it. Jackson, weirded out by this, he decides to try to lead her away from the door, but all else fails, so he opens the door thinking, what would be the harm of opening just a door? But when he opens the door, she walks through it, and that's how they ended up in the SCP world.
I feel like what would be the harm of opening just a door is what you would say in real life if you were a dungeon.
I would say it out loud, yeah.
Yeah, we're like in a dungeon looking for traps, and you're like, what would be the harm of opening just a door? And then we get embedded with toxic darts.
Some other facts I need to know. When Jackson enters Alagada, he gets a one-off outfit of a raven wearing all black, a feathered mask, feathered sleeves, and a whip.
Okay, so this is a concept.
This is a very early concept.
This is a concept. The concept sounds cool, but what's going to make the story, like any story, is what you do with it. So I think finish your concept, because it's obviously work in progress. Figure out your narrative, and then go from there. Because it's just a concept, it's really too early for us to say anything. But it feels like a usable idea, so I will say that.
I'll be interested in seeing what happens there.
Yeah, and if you ever get more on that. Because I've mentioned to you, Tam, before, the idea of, like, what would happen if there was an SCP where, like, they find the SCP Wiki, and they're like, why is this just on the internet? Or like something like that, and this kind of is related to that, and I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Is this an SCP TTRPG idea? No, I think this is Lost's SCP. I don't know if this would be an SCP though. I think this would be a tale. Yeah, right?
It sounds like a tale. Forgive us if I'm wrong.
It sounds much more like a tale.
Forgive us. Why did I say forgive us?
And if it was written like deeply enough and enough people got interested, and I bet it could even become a canon. Because it seems like the kind of canon that you could just plop your OC into at any point, right? But I think that's a long way ahead. Focus on finishing your concept, then write your narrative. And what you do with your narrative is what's going to make or break it. We can't really say much now. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, sorry, if you were nervous. I wasn't laughing. I didn't think your story was bad. I just thought that specifically that's such a guy thing to do. I feel like that was just really funny to me.
Ooh, comic.
That was basically me with a girl I once liked with Danganronpa, and then I had to fucking learn everything about Danganronpa.
Tell me something about Danganronpa.
Whatever you want to know about the first one, and maybe
just the first one. So you're not a real fan.
Okay, there's this guy Naegi Komada, and he's the super high school luck guy. And then there are these twin sisters, and one of them's dead. And everyone knew each other in the past, but they didn't remember because she drugged them all.
Well, from your knowledge of Danganronpa, I'm going to assume that you didn't get with this girl.
You're gonna what?
I mean,
You keep cutting out for me.
from your knowledge of Danganronpa, I'm gonna assume that it didn't work out with this girl.
I cannot hear you. You keep cutting out.
Can you guys hear me?
Probably because your mic's the one streaming live.
I was gonna say from the knowledge you've displayed of Danganronpa, I'm gonna assume it didn't go well with this girl.
Yeah, no, it did not go well with this girl. But I tried really hard, and at the time I knew more. Okay, it's been like 5 years since then, and it was not a series I cared about. And now people are always like, "OMG, Darnell, you like anime? Have you heard of Danganronpa?" And I just get bad memories. Just like, don't talk about Danganronpa to me. It's like my #1 pet peeve.
Danganronpa.
Yeah, like I don't hate anyone that's into it or anything, but just I specifically have my own quarrels with that series. But I did indeed learn way more about it than I really cared to because I wanted to impress a girl I like. I also got into Undertale because of that girl, but then I just liked Undertale because it was super based. It was a good game.
Okay, well, we're out of stuff to read through. We've exhausted that
font. Super secret special concept, or do you want to play some games?
Let's play AI Dungeon for a bit.
Okay, rev up those AI Dungeon friars then.
Connecting to servers.
Will Zed, I see your profile picture. Are you by any chance Time, my dear friend Time? Will Zed says, ending up in the Foundation universe would be absolutely terrifying on multiple levels. I agree. Not just because the anomalies exist, but based on SCP, there's so fucking many of them, you probably would run into them in your life. Oh, there's a 001 proposal that talks about writers controlling the world. That is also the plot of Sino Alice. If you didn't know.
So I've put into a bit of a less intrusive position.
So there's a problem here because your fucking Emil is over all
Yeah,
the
sorry, I've already fixed it. I've already fixed it by the time you're saying this.
Okay. Why am I writing on your head?
Yeah, I got bored. I moved you around. So, what genre shall we play?
My personal favorite is fantasy, but let's let the audience decide.
You decide. You all decide.
Let's not have them decide every choice because of the delay, but let's at least do like these main beginning things with them. Yep, it's me. 10.
Maybe if an idea for a custom prompt. So, in case you don't know what AI Dungeon is, so basically, if you haven't watched our video where we play this, basically it's sort of a procedurally generated sort of secure adventure.
If I may throw in my idea, Tan, remember at the end of our video there was like a chapter 3 or something, and you were like, "Let's continue it." What if we just continued it from there?
I want to save that for a video, maybe. But mystery says Lots Network. Anyone else got any suggestions?
You see the chat slightly before me, I think, because Lost Network's...
Yeah, it's because I can see the future.
You got your future diary on board. I really like these PNGs. Yeah, I mean, obviously we can never use them again.
Yeah, why not? Let's do mystery. And are we a patient, a detective, or a spy, you think?
I will say, by the way...
detective, I say.
I just want to warn people, if you're not familiar with AI Dungeon, no matter
this will become incoherent.
Well, but no matter what you start with, it almost always ends up in fantasy. It just seems to do that, because that's what it was like made for. Like, eventually, especially with the way Tanhoney plays, it'll probably get fantasy.
I'm going to be a detective. So Banker Paul has let us know that if we incorporate the bank into the story, we'll gain 3% interest. So that's our first stop. I'm going to play as Tanho.
You're going to play as who? You keep cutting out.
Tanho.
Oh, nice. Next quest, catch the criminal. All right, do you want to read this or me?
You read it.
You are Tanho, a detective living in Chicago. You have a pistol and a police badge. I guess this is before Tanho was a doctor at the Foundation. Yeah. You enter the forest where you believe the criminal you're searching for fled to. Suddenly, you see someone. You have to talk for you.
Stop, criminal scum! Surrender your stolen goods, or pay the fine.
A figure slowly turns around. It's a little girl, roughly 10 years old. She appears to have a gun. I can't tell if that's you or the girl.
I guess that's her.
It's not a gun!
Like... Heck, it isn't. Little Missy. Drop that firearm immediately. Or
Lang, I love your
the long arm of the law.
Crusader Kings reference. You say like heck. Oh, sorry, you already said it. Wait. You notice that the girl is shaking too much to be able to aim the gun at you. I thought it wasn't a gun, huh? Also, it doesn't look dangerous. It looks like a fairy tale toy. Go away, Hey, mean man, the girl sobs. I'll shoot you. Thought it wasn't a gun, Simply touch the
Now I've got to...
Fucking every time with this guy. Fucking Matrix. You pluck the bullet out of the air and it falls to the ground. The girl lowers her gun. I knew you could do it. She smiles. Wait a minute. You recognize this girl. She was in the newspaper. She's one of the missing children.
So, it's you. Clarissa Darkness German.
German?
Oh.
You look at the girl. The smile turns into a grin. There's something horribly wrong with her eyes. Oh, it's becoming horror.
Containment breach, containment breach!
Waiting for someone smart, she says. No one seems to get it. You step backwards, scared out of your mind. Is this how he became a Foundation doctor?
Radio in to Mobile Task Force. Zeta 9 and let them know you've located Clarissa Darkness German.
You can't run from me.
Oh,
I guess my ASMR didn't affect you that time.
oh my
Reach
god.
for your police radio and find it missing. You've left it back at the car. Do what you want with him, the girl says to someone else. You turn around and see dozens of people. Each one has a different disability.
What? What's going on in these woods?
Just a bunch of crippled people.
Remember
so fucked up.
the basics of CQC.
With close quarters combat?
Yeah.
You remember the basics of CQC. You remember the first rule of CQC, close quarters combat.
Oh my
Go for
god.
the kill. You run towards the disabled mod.
No!
Punch a wheelchair user.
Oh my god, no!
Crushing his windpipe. You knee a blind person in the This does sound like Dr. Tanho, causing them to collapse forward. There's too many of them. He's just beating up disabled people.
No, this is what I wanted.
I fucking can't breathe. You notice the little girl somehow made it out of her... What class?
There's a glass box, a containment
She's
cell.
sitting on top of it, watching the fight. This AI dungeon is a fucking great way to practice improv. The other disabled people are attacking the other police officers.
Who are apparently
the girl jumps
there.
off the box and lands right in front of you. Epic crater making noise.
So, you want to fight one-on-one then?
The Avengers are here, says Alpha.
Very well.
Hang on, I'll read in a second. I'm reading the comments. When someone said something about me, when Darnell starts talking with Luigi. Okay, so you say, so you want to find one. Okay, you and the little girl circle each other. Her eyes are full of hatred. With a shout, you run at her, swinging your fist straight for her face. She catches your fist with one hand and stabs you through the chest with a pair of scissors clutched in the other hand.
Foolish to think you could face me.
Like I die.
You're immune to ASMR now.
And it's because I'm excited with my fight, the adrenaline.
You push the girl away from you. She lands on her behind while you flick the scissors out of your chest. Blood is pouring out of your chest wound. You walk slowly toward the girl, with each step getting more painful than the last one. No! His HP bar won't hold out! Everybody like this video to increase Tanhoni's HP!
I can't die until I've killed you.
So, it is a fight to the death you want. You fall to the ground. You're in so much pain that you don't even notice when the girl stabs you through the throat. Officer down! You hear someone scream from far away. We need medical attention here! Your vision is starting to get blurry. This is a fucking great episode 1 of an anime. They're building up the big bad villain of the AI dungeon.
This girl goes, she can't escape from the police.
I don't think it'll work. She's too powerful.
Whoever she is.
You don't know why you do it. Maybe it's the adrenaline. Maybe you're tired of being a good guy for once, like you ever were. Maybe you're possessed by an evil spirit. Whatever the reason, you grab her ankle and pull as hard as you can. Like a fucking superhuman. Whoa. Just wield her like a club. You pull the girl toward you. She flies toward you, unable to stop herself. She slams into a tree and falls on the ground motionless. We need an ambulance over here! You hear someone yell. You stand up, still woozy from your wounds.
Take out your gun and double tap the girl.
No.
Because she's too dangerous to be left alive.
Just to be safe, eh? You point your gun in her chest and fire twice. The girl sits up right before a bullet tears through her heart. What the? A paramedic says, running over to you. Sir, what's going on?
That was no girl. That was SCP-9234.
Oh no. Now whenever that SCP comes out, it has to be this girl.
Tell the O5 Council I took care of their little problem.
They said they're busy with Cassie.
Now they owe me one.
Also, she's not dead. She sit up.
but yeah, but then a bullet tore through her heart, so I assume now she's dead.
I don't think that'll kill her. You laugh and then fall unconscious. When you wake up, you're in a hospital bed, fully healed, and a man in a dark suit stands over you. Ah, so you're awake.
So you're finally awake.
Oh, I can do that voice. Ah, so you're finally awake, the man says. My name is Carter. I work for the O5 Council. Should he really be telling you his name? Is this how Tanho got recruited to SCP-verse?
What is
You
it
defeated the anomaly.
you want from me, Carter?
Arthur, I got a plan.
Get slammed into a tree.
Carter pulls up a chair and sits down. He looks tired, like he hasn't slept in a long time. You're probably aware that we lost 48 agents in the raid on your apartment complex.
The what? You raided my apartment?
We needed to get to you, Dr. Tanho. Please.
I was in the woods, I thought.
Dude, AI Dungeon doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. We believed you were harboring an instance of SCP-9234-2, Carter says. It was a long shot. We had to risk it. We need your help. You are the Dragonborn.
When I try to get out, they pull me back in.
Just all the cliches. Hang on, you read for a second. I want to take a break to read the comments. Left 4, disabled 2. I finally found the SCP that the idea concept made me think of, the one I called a TTRPG concept 2758. Get a knife. After this near-death experience, Tanho goes on to pursue his passion for science. Is this Cadia where everyone, including children, know how to kill? Dr. Tanho, the un-Canadian. I'm back. Oh my god, I love this app. Got to buy. Buy Lost. Buy. Oh, buy Lost. Alright. I'll go back to reading. Being your reading slave now. So you will help us? Carter asks hopefully.
Yes. What do you need?
You say, we need you to track down another instance of SCP-9234-2. We believe it is somewhere in the Zablak Empire.
Are you crazy?
Are you out of your mind?
I need to go through the
Space portal.
space-time fissure to get to that place. Any
I
ship
wish there was a way to italicize
would be
that.
torn apart.
We've created a new electromagnetic pulsing device that can get you through. We're sending you through a Y-class ship, Carter says. It's the only ship equipped to survive a trip through the fissure. And we're sending you with a team of elite agents.
Who? Show me the files. I want to see what files it comes up with.
It's like 682, Abel, Kane, fucking camera girl, Johnny, cousin Johnny, fucking Cactus Man. Oh my god, is this what we were building a team for in Super Friends?
Oh my god. Cousin Johnny.
Carter pulls out a smartphone and starts going through it. After a few minutes, he shows you the screen. You read the files. You look at the screen. 3 agents are listed. Dr. Victoria Hansworth, age 35, occupation, astrophysicist, security clearance, white. Is that a real thing in
No.
SCP? IQ 200. Dr. Hansworth is different from what you're used to working with. What about the other two? Keep going.
Read the next one.
Carl Avern, age 28, occupation field agent, security clearance black, IQ 170. A common run-of-the-mill field agent, just with an IQ of 170. You worked with guys like this before, and they're all the same.
Read the last file.
What are they like?
They're all the same.
This is kind of epic. Daniel Johnson, age 28, occupation field agent, security clearance black, IQ 176. Another common run-of-the-mill field agent. Why are they common run-of-the-mill if their IQ is 170?
Overqualified.
Clearly the O5 Council's scraping the bottom of the barrel for this one. Poor Daniel Johnson.
These are the kinds of people you're giving me for this mission? Do you want us to succeed, Carter?
Give me 682.
Or is the O5 Council just looking to get me killed?
You're too powerful.
If we're going to do this, you know we need him.
Excited
SCP-682.
That doesn't play by the rules. That's Daniel Johnson Alpha. The Zot Black Empire.
SCP-682. The lizard.
OC5 Council just looking to get me killed. Carl looks at you confused. Who? I think you've been out of commission for too long. 682 is just a myth.
No, it's real, alright? It's a monster. A big reptilian beast.
Oh my god, does it actually know what it is?
It's God. Never mind. It'll help us.
I think you just have to hit continue, right?
Get me a helicopter and take me to 682's home. Only I can convince it.
Every Dr. OC in the canon be like. Carter stares at you for a few moments, pondering the idea. I think I know a way to convince you of the importance of your mission. Stand behind me. You stand behind Carter, and he suddenly swings his fist around, punching you in the stomach. A trap!
Dodge his attacks. Carter, how could you?
Carter, Timmy!
He didn't want me getting to 682.
This is where you say screw it to Daniel Johnson and just go find 682. What the hell, man? He says. I was trying to make a point that I can't be trusted. Carter leans in. If we're going to do this, you need to trust me.
What?
Well, which is it, Carter?
You're more trouble.
Oh, can I get a drink?
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Then you're
you
worth.
invest in your OC.
You say, and knock him out. Look for the location of SCP-682. By Will Z. You open up the laptop and turn it on. After a few moments, it begins loading, and you go to the database of SCPs. I'm on the Wiki. Scrolling past the various ones, you find SCP-682. Find its location. Location unknown. Oh great, not only is it missing, but its location is unknown. You'll have to find out where it is. What are you doing? Carter asked from the floor. Finishing the fight. I don't understand, Carter says. If you wanted to finish the fight, why didn't you do it when we were out there? Why come here? Why capture me? My goals are beyond your understanding. Hello, the big cheese.
Big Cheese is here. I remember him from a comment on our Yu-Gi-Oh video.
Wow.
Welcome, Big Cheese, and thank you for celebrating with us.
Playing a
I just
bit
came
of
back-
identity.
Okay, have you been reading these or just typing?
Yeah,
cues?
I've been reading them.
All right, get me updated. What's going on?
So I'm on the laptop looking for the location of SCP-682.
Gotcha.
And he's asking me why I tied him up and everything, and I say, my goals are beyond your understanding. So am I, and Carter says, I want to protect people, and I'm willing to make sacrifice to do so. Why is my dedication not as strong as yours?
Oh my god, this is so anime. All right, I can narrate again if you want, unless you've got it.
You're not willing to shed your humanity as I have.
So is that Carter's
Carter.
new voice what you've been doing?
I was just been trying to do an impression of you.
Oh. Again, I don't understand, Carter says. What does that mean in practical terms? What are you trying to do? Carter is clearly beginning to get agitated. You need to distract him.
You want to know my end game?
Does it involve the Avengers? Yes, Carter says. Okay.
Then I need to ask you a few questions first, you
You
say.
say. All right, Carter responds.
First, are you willing to die for your cause?
You say. Yes, Carter answers immediately.
Shoot him in the head.
You shouldn't. You should have said no, idiot. With a flash and deafening boom, the top half of Carter's head disappears. His eyes widen as blood trickles down his neck. After a few moments, he stops moving as rigor mortis sets in.
Second question, are you willing to kill for your cause?
I think he's dead, Tano.
Because I am.
Tano, he's already dead.
That was like an actual one-liner. I'm not sure if I'm a villain or not.
You're an anti-hero. You're a hero, but you're all badass and edgy about it.
Oh, it doesn't know how to respond to
Yeah,
this.
I wouldn't know how to say either. It's a dead. You're talking to a dead body. What more can it say? Oh, outside of bringing it back to life.
Yes, bang. Leave the hospital and start heading towards Site 19.
No,
I need to find the location of SCP-682.
please.
Remember when we go into like the Zabrak Empire?
It's missing, but we also don't know where it is. Aren't these kind of the same? Sorry, English isn't my first language, so I have no clue. Yes and no. It's missing.
It does mean the same thing because I just wrote it. It's not that smart.
Yeah, but like it's missing
What's this new
is to
button?
say, I don't know. Yes, they do mean the same thing, but it makes sense to say them both. It's weird. Just look up 682 on my iPhone. 682, the biggest lizard-like iPhone. There are things bigger than 682. Not sure if one of them is reptilian, though. F in the chat, Tan just became a villain.
I just killed a man in the hospital. That is true.
Actually, no. W in the chat, Tan became a winner.
Turn on the radio.
I remember when Tan was a good guy beating up children and the disabled. Yeah, me too, Alpha. Now he's shooting SCP agents in the face.
When I turn on the radio and listen to the news, a new flu virus is going around.
I can't read anymore because Amelia, or fuck, I forgot I need to look at the Discord stream. Never mind.
Yeah.
Emil was in the way.
I love a meal.
I kept saying Amelia. You turn on the radio and listen to the news. You turn on the radio listening to various bits of news. A new flu virus is going around. The latest music hits are played. You turn off the radio, not really in the mood to listen to any of that. We're heading back to the hospital, Tano says.
Oh, no, I don't say that. I'm deciding someone else said that. Turn around and see who's in the back seat. Oh.
It's a strange man in a cheap suit. He appears to have a... Oh my god, is this me? It's me! He appears to have a mustache, although his face is partially disfigured.
Who are you? You ask.
You asked. Right now, I'm your guardian angel. Or the closest you've got, at least, he says. Darnell, is that you?
I meant your name, asshole. Don't make me give you another nose hole.
Least threatening fucking... I hope he... Say Darnell by some miracle. This has to be me. He chuckles a bit. My name is Stanley, he says. But I think we have more important things to discuss. For one, the men in the car behind you with the black windows.
What about them?
They're following you, he says.
How can I trust you?
Stanley is spiritually me. I'm your partner in crime, assigned to you on this case. He stares at you for a few minutes. You can't, he says, before disappearing. You feel something poke your side. You turn around quickly, only to find you staring down the barrel of a gun held by one of the men in the black sedan.
Oh, he's so close. He's like reaching through the window, I imagine. Punch the gun into pieces with a rapid series of blows.
I almost spit my fucking drink all over my keyboard when you said that. You say it so matter-of-factly. Oh my god. You turn around and destroy the gun with a few quick blows. The man screams as the gun explodes in his hands, sending a stream of burning hot metal fragments into his arms. He drops onto your back seat. Meanwhile, you grab the other man and pull him out of the car. Oh my god, what are you?
Into an origami swan.
The man screams and begs you to stop, but you keep folding. Soon he's in a fairly straightforward bird, although his constant struggling prevents you from making it very complex. You drop the man out of your car and drive off. This doesn't seem like your style.
I don't need you lecturing me, Stanley. Not after what happened in Alaska. I'm creating backstory.
I love that. That's why I think AI Dungeon's great in improv. Tan just says bullshit and it rolls with it. We've had this conversation before. I'm dead and I've moved on. Besides, I'm here to help you. So much for moving on.
Like you helped Spencer. Who's Spencer?
I told him not to go through with it!
Really? Then why did he commit suicide the next day?
Just hit continue, please. I need to see how this goes. Because he felt like an idiot for trusting me. You glare at him and he stares at the ground. Regardless, we should go, he says. There's to be a trial in a week.
A trial? For who? Our mission changes every few minutes.
Yeah, it always ends up this way.
For you,
he says. They'll be trying to pin the destruction of the town on you. As far as anyone else is concerned, you're a terrorist.
Okay, so White Guard, to summarize what has happened so far in this adventure, we went to the woods and we fought a little girl who was like a demon or something. And then we woke up in a hospital and the guy was there and he wanted us to go to like an empire through a time and space portal.
Just skip over the part where you beat up all the disabled people.
With self-defense. But then I killed him for some reason, and now and I was then going to find out where SCP-682 is. Now I'm driving to Site 19, but suddenly there's like a ghost in my car of a guy called Stanley, and apparently we know each other from something in Alaska. And now there's a trial because a town got destroyed and I'm being blamed for it.
Alright, Tan, I'm going to read my part again and then you need to respond this time.
Okay.
For you, he says, they'll be trying to pin the destruction of the town on you. As far as anyone else is concerned, you're a terrorist.
That's absurd. I'm no terrorist. What town is this anyway? I want more info.
My throat is fucking dying. There we go. Oh my god, there's like something in there, like a lot of phlegm. I'm still a little sick.
No, you don't get off that easy. You give me an answer.
Remember to start a do input with a verb. Example, attack the orc. You should just type attack the orc once at any time in this story randomly. They haven't said, but I think it was somewhere in Africa. They were testing biological weapons, and you caused a virus that killed hundreds.
I didn't do that. Well, not on purpose, at least.
Fucking Tano is such a horrible guy. How
Anyway,
is he a detective?
This is the site. Am I even a detective anymore? We need to get to the O3 court to clear my name.
O3 court? What's O3?
I think Peppers goes mentioned it in one article. It's like the legal part of the SCP Foundation.
Hang on, let's see if there's any new comments in the YouTube. Tanhole folded some dude into an origami bird. Yeah, that's true. It's not the O3 court anymore. It's the N1 court now.
The N1 Court. I've never heard of... Oh. We've officially been at war with them for more than 2 years now. What are the...
I've never heard of them. Oh, wait, we've been at war for 2 years. I forgot.
Doing working together. They were sworn enemies 5 minutes ago.
I can't wait for Attack the Orc to come in. It's a little more complicated than that, but they've made an alliance of sorts, he says. It's been getting worse for everyone in the past few months.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I love how your guy talks about it now like he totally knew what was going on the whole time.
I'm putting that... We're arriving at Site 19.
Yeah, a conversation can go on indefinitely if you don't end it. You wait in the car while he gets out and walks into the building. 10 minutes later, he comes back with several other men in tow. One of them steps forward and speaks to you through the car window. Hello, mister.
Please, call me Dr. Tano.
But you weren't a doctor before. Maybe you were a Foundation doctor embedded as an agent in the police.
Oh.
Very well, Doctor. I'm Special Agent Miller. We're gonna need you to come with us.
No, I don't think I will.
Excuse me?
You heard me, little man.
Whoa, hey.
Have you
Don't
heard?
talk about something like that.
Have you heard of the Alaska Massacre?
Alaska Massacre? Is that what it's called?
That was me.
I thought you were just like trying to say it wasn't your fault a second ago, and now you're like, that was me. He turns pale, and several other agents shift nervously. You monster! Uh-oh, says your driver. He's a psycho. Let's get out of here. He starts the car and drives away as quickly as possible.
No, I need the intel in Site 19 to find SCP-682. I need to tell him where his father is.
I can't keep up with this lore. How long have we been streaming?
We've now been streaming for around 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Are we ever going to get to the thing we talked about?
Probably not.
Oh.
The card... Wait, what?
You say the car disappears in the distance. You fall to your knees and begin to weep. This was a grave mistake. One of the agents pulls out a walkie-talkie and calls for an ambulance. Attack the orc!
Slice the ambulance in half with a kick.
What?
Because I'm so strong.
You continue slicing the ambulance until it's nothing but a long gash in the road, still keeping your foot on the accelerator. A quarter mile behind you, the ambulance flips into the air. You don't stop. Crashes behind you. Your foot never leaves the gas.
Drive inside Site 19.
Tan, maybe we should do the thing that you talked about that you were really hype on that I think the audience will like a lot.
Okay.
Instead of just watching us play AI Dungeon. How about this? Let's do 5 more prompts.
Okay.
This, right?
I'm going to do a story prompt, so I'm going to say what happens next in this bit.
Okay, you walk inside the building, step over the corpses of several agents. Soon enough, you find yourself in an empty hallway.
Hello?
You call out. It's me! I'm down here! You hear a voice say from around the corner.
It's SCP-682.
Again, you almost made me spit on my keyboard. You turn the corner and find yourself staring at a massive, charred, 7-foot hole in the ground.
Oh, buddy. What have they done to you?
You're here to free me, yes? It asks.
No. I'm here to kill everyone involved putting you in a cage.
Wait, so you don't want to free him, just punish the people that caged him and then leave him. How can you be so cruel, friend? I'm the most valuable asset to the preservation of life as we know it. I do not think that is true.
I suppose I could free you. And let you annihilate humanity.
For a price.
For a price?
Gotta help me take down this bastard. This little girl that's been chasing me around. He seems very intrigued by your words. What would you have me do? He asks.
There's a man. He's in charge of the N1 court, I think. Bring him to me, and I'll release you. Wait, how's he gonna bring him to me?
You got 3 prompts left, man. Make
This
it
is my
work.
last prompt.
Oh.
It'll be just like old times. Right, Spencer?
He's dead.
No, he was reincarnated as SCP-682. That's the law.
Oh, wait, no, it was Stanley that was dead. Spencer still. Oh, no, Spencer committed suicide.
Yeah, and
He
became
seemed confused. What do you mean? He asks.
Spencer. I'll tell you about it some other time. Don't worry about it. Now, come on. Let's go. Okay, so I've got 2 prompts left, right?
I meant like 2 more type things, but sure, fuck it, go.
Let's
finish the story arc at least. Then we can be satisfied. But like, we gotta get moving, because I don't want to just watch you play AI Dungeon. All
teleport to. Let's see if I can win this in the next 2 moves. N1 Court headquarters.
Can't lose the court case if you feed the judge to a lizard. Hang on, sorry, I'm coming back in. Things are hectic. The entirety of the N1 court is evacuating. It's been a half an hour since the attack begun, and it doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. The sounds of explosions are everywhere, and soldiers rush through the halls.
You win.
Win! On top of a fallen soldier, having just stabbed him through the chest. Blood drips off your horns as you roar victoriously. SCP-079 walks past you, using its arms to impale 2 soldiers at once.
We did
Who's
it.
SCP-079?
I don't know. Who is he?
Let's look it up. Go on your Google. Who impaled 2 soldiers with his arms?
SCP-079 is a microcomputer. So I don't know how he's managed that.
Alright, are we ready? To 500 subs, baby page?
Yeah.
Transparent cactus, why did you have that?
Don't worry about that.
Oh, were you? I know what that's for. Smile. How
So,
does Discord have another update already? I fucking hate this. Okay, so a little bit of delay, so we'll have to wait a bit for the fans to see this. But our special prize for you today is Tanhoney's assets as a writer. That's right. If you want to see something, feel free to drop a writing prompt in the chat right now, and Tanhoney will do his best to write a quick piece or short story in it about that prompt. And then while he writes that up, he's going to keep it shortish. I will answer questions in the chat as usual. And then he'll finish, and we'll go to the next one. And we'll do a couple of them probably, depending on the length of these, how long it takes him to write one.
mm-hmm.
That's right, audience. Yes, you, right now, get to petition Tan for whatever you want. Anything.
Anything.
Alright, now we have to wait for the time lag.
Don't worry, I'll wait forever if that's what it takes.
And meanwhile, if you have more questions you want to ask, please drop them, and we will answer as he's doing his stories. I will, like, take over chat duty for him while he goes writer mode.
Oh,
Right. So, let's see how this goes. So, Tanhoney, when did you first play Nier?
I can remember.
Okay, the first writing prompt from Big Cheese is 682 and Tanhoney go on a romantic date after winning the court case. Get to it.
Okay. Can't believe we survived that. Giggled Tanho as he
You may not want to read out loud as you
as he stirred his spaghetti with a fork.
Alright, you keep writing and I will answer questions.
The N1
Whatever you
bishops.
guys have.
They were so powerful.
Tanhoney, maybe not talk as you write.
Can't believe you had to fight your siblings.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah, but I don't care. It must have been
Alright, well, never mind the questions part. Then
difficult.
Tanner's going.
Don't worry.
Print screen!
682 growls. It's nothing.
How do you hotkey the bold key?
Control B.
That's so based. Stop fucking putting your print screen up.
Fighting my siblings was difficult, but you know what I always say. I'm a lizard that adapts. Tanho sighed, a dreamy look in his eyes. It was almost beyond belief. After all the trials and tribulations of the last day, the former of those being literal, he was finally getting a chance to relax with his favourite person in the whole world.
Alright,
Wow.
let me know when you finish. We've got a couple suggestions for you to choose from after this.
Wrong word to use. SCP-quadruple-x, aka the damn lizard. Too difficult to kill, but hard to destroy reptile, I think.
The hard winky faced lizard.
But Tanho had always just known him as Spencer.
Oh. Is that it?
A waitress arrived, holding a bucket of parmesan between her squirrely hands.
I can't handle it.
Excuse me,
Why does it matter what
she
your hands
said
look like?
sweetly. I have the parmesan. Tanho gulped. He'd been dreading this moment. The Joker origin.
I can't stop. Fuck. Oh my god.
682
Why do you
gurgled
say it like-
chorgulantly.
Why do you say it like Parmesan instead of Parmesan?
Oh, thank God. I thought I was going to die.
My
Please.
face hurt. I haven't laughed
Begin
that hard since you
pouring.
said Shadow Clown Joseph.
Now, he says.
Please begin pouring
The
Parmesan.
waitress, weeping softly, pours the cheese. Her family had spent their whole lives growing atop the lizards. Cheese and tomato lasagna. The reptile purred in appreciation as the parmesan, glowing softly in the Italian moonlight.
Hunter Spaff Aura said this is cringe. No, this is art.
Melted upon contact with his meal, becoming
Oh my god, Killer ships us as a. Do you
flowing.
I had a dark thought, Tanhony, that came to me. When you mentioned when I was talking about getting into something for a girl, and you said that's the podcast, and then Killer just now said writing prompt. Darnell gets his revenge for Tanho taking 682 over him. Do people think we're in love?
No.
Okay, good. Oh Lord.
Please, sir, she whispered. If we could just keep a little bit of the cheese. My sister has been so sick lately.
Are you gonna post this as a joke tale?
No.
You should.
And
Cold
she's
post.
lactose. What's the opposite of intolerant? Like, you need it.
Lactose reliant.
Reliant. All the milk in the county is gone since you ate all the cows, so... 682 glances at the waitress in annoyance. Hello, Angela Marshall. Hey!
What the fuck is this about 682? I thought this was about him going on a date with Tano. Why does this have to do with Parmesan? Why did you say Parmesan, too?
Being interrupted before looking back.
Big Cheese says you should post this as a tale.
Do you mind? What the hell? Do you mind?
Do you mind what?
Do you mind? He says. Tanner shakes his head, gently licking his plate clean of mushroom sauce.
Gross. This is just gross.
Go ahead. Please don't mind me. 682 devoured, the waitress. The end.
Wow. That
I'll accept your upvotes now.
Yeah, post that as a tale unironically.
No.
Okay, so there are a bunch of prompts.
I see that it's very obvious that I changed what I was interested in partway through the story.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to go back up. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so we have. I'm gonna read a couple prompts and you pick one. So let me get through a couple. White Guard says 2B and SCP. Killer says Luigi, but he's always number 2. Gabs Lad says write a short story of Tanhoney growing a beard for the first time. Alpha says world's oldest man gets into cosplay. Hunter Spataphora says something about 3,000. I don't think that's a good idea because I don't want you to spoil it.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Banker because he said am I too late for the prompts, but he hasn't wrote any prompts, I don't think. So those are...
Pick one at random.
Jimmy Bob McGee goes on the treacherous journey to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean to get to Banker Paul's bank. Okay, so those are all the ones you have to choose from. Killer said Darnell gets his revenge for Tanho taking 682 over him. Pick one at random, you said?
I've already picked one.
Okay, perfect. Which one?
Look. Sniper rifle. I think his breath
So it's a continuation of the first
story. Through the tears. So, he said. He said. Searching the translation on his phone beforehand.
I wouldn't need to do that. I've simply watched too many Japanese cartoons.
So, from what he understood, this was the anime word for "oh no."
No, it's damn.
It was more than fitting in this situation.
You mean more than fitting? You wrote more fitting. Foolish.
Through his scope, you could see the two of them there. Tanho.
Spataphora keeps asking for prompts that spoil stuff that we haven't done on the podcast yet. One of them just spoiled something about 5,000. They said, where did Dr. Brett end up after throwing himself in the hole? Fucking stop spoiling shit. Please. I beg of ye.
Tanho. The man who had destroyed the N1 court, whatever that is.
Someone said it was like a legislative court in London or something.
Used to do it. It was this kind of story. The story's written about.
What?
And yet, it should have been him. It was a stupid, irrational thought, but it grabbed his soul by the throat and refused to let go.
Why does my soul have a throat?
It should have been him.
Should have, to be fair, it should have.
I'm getting emotional just writing it. Listen to me.
Really?
No.
Why?
It's sad. True. He wasn't an immortal lizard that could kill anyone in like 1 second. But he had heart. Damn it.
I do. I have a heart. Why did you choose that lizard over me?
He had a human soul.
Unlike that bastard lizard.
That bastard lizard. The thing the O5 called Spencer was nothing but an abomination. It had to be destroyed. It was too dangerous to be left alive. Even as he watched, he saw that damned lizard thrust its snout into the bowl of Parmesan.
Why Parmesan?
Devouring every last delectable bit. It was disturbing to watch. Was this really the wheel of nature at work? Let's get some music for this. It's very quiet.
We can't put on any music.
We can.
But what do you have?
We find something.
I don't think you can. It would have to get censored in the video and we'd lose all the talking parts during it, right? Dan?
Hmm?
I really don't know if music's a good idea, buddy.
Don't worry, I've got 10 hours of curfew royalty for you clean music.
Oh, it's way too loud. Turn it down, turn it down.
Yeah, never mind. I'd rather have no music. Okay, let's continue. His grandfather, Emilio Germain, had told him about such matters.
Who?
Your grandfather, Emilio Germain.
Emilio? Is that like Amelia, like from ReZero, but a boy?
No, it's Emilio. It's a name. Nature was always spinning. The stronger.
What does this have to do with
eating
nature?
The weaker.
Parmesan.
Right now, the wheel turned one way, but his grandfather had always said, with a cruel twinkle in his eye.
By the way, Tanhoney, I think
reverse.
after this stream is over, you should take this document and post it publicly in our Discord announcements so everyone can read it
Sure.
for themselves.
But his grandfather always said with a cruel twinkle in his eye, it would one day reverse. Grass, once the ultimate prey, would suckle blood from those that walked upon it. Like the infinite legion mosquito.
Mosquito. Alpha says the Parmesan that hates.
Great white shark would be farmed for food by worms and flies.
This is so off topic. You get so into like one detail.
And
You can see
682.
Tanhoney's writing process as he like picks a detail he wrote about mid-writing and then spirals in on it.
And
I bet
682.
you can fill out,
682 would become the
like,
ultimate prey for someone like him. He was the weakest. You've known that from the beginning, of course. But if someone like him could take down SCP-682, then God truly existed in this world. As the lizard finished its parmesan.
Now
Darnell
would be the time to take
Germain
the shot.
pulled the trigger.
Did I do it?
The world passed to the next millennium.
This is where the fucking Hamilton song comes in during the duel with. Do you remember that? The duel at the end. I see my death so much it feels more like a memory.
682's doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the second prompt, which is the
682
continuation of the first.
682 raises his fangs up at the sky. Wait! What if it's just a never-ending revenge story? I kill 682 so you get revenge on me. Then after I die, my grandfather gets revenge on me. And it just fucking keeps going.
It was insane theories about the Wheel of Nature.
Wheel of Nature. That's his stand, Wheel of Nature. It reverses the flow so that even grass may consume lions. It reverses the food. That's actually a really cool concept for a stand, inversing the food chain, like turning it upside down.
Next prompt.
Yes, so there were a couple earlier, but let's give some time for people to type some. Meanwhile, I'll go up some of the older ones that were there. Let me find it. We've got read a short story of Tanoni growing a beard for the first time. Luigi, but he's always number 2. World's oldest man gets into cosplay. Hang on. There's one from Banker. Jimmy Bob McGee goes on the treacherous journey to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean to get to Banker Paul's bank. Who's Banker Paul? Is that like an SCP figure?
That's him.
I mean, this guy's named Banker Paul, but...
Yeah, let's find Banker Paul. So I need to think of the guy. So is Jimmy Job Bumbu? His name's not Jimmy Job Bumbu. Sorry.
Let me find the name. Jimmy Bob McGee.
It's too late. Jimmy Job Bumbu swam down.
Jimmy John
Scuba gear unwieldy around his body. He'd ask for one his size, but the ocean keepers had never thought well of him. And to be truthful, he expected they hoped he'd die on this expedition. At least this way, he wouldn't defy the tribe again. It's like fantasy now. When Bumbu had been born.
Hey, when our special guest arrives, I think you should stop reading aloud as you type, so then that guest can read along with us.
Yes.
And we can do the story. The special guest says they'll be here in 15 minutes.
I like how we are just now saying that there will be a special guest. You say this like we've announced it already.
Yeah, there's a special guest coming who's about 15 minutes away, give or take. He is stuck. They are stuck behind an asshole, they say.
The waters, the baptismal waters. Sorry for me. The brine.
Killer wrote another prompt. Darnell comes back as Luigi.
Had collected into loathsome clumps. The symbols predicting an accursed life. The stigma of that prophecy had followed Bumbu.
While you're reading aloud, I'm going to update my Discord real quick.
Sure. This guy updates his Discord every 5 fucking seconds. I don't know what he's doing. He's got like a fucking Discord from 1985.
Hello?
Hi. Stalked him.
Wait, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is bad. My Discord client went down, but I'm still talking. Hello?
You're a ghost in the machine now.
I don't know what's happening. It's because I run Canary build, and Discord's like, hey, what if we update every fucking 3 hours for some reason? It's so annoying, but it's the only one that works on this computer for some reason. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
This is bizarre, and it's freaking me out.
To become a diver.
Why am I stuck in the machine? I can't even check my Discord.
I told him he was forbidden to swim in the water in the body of the goddess Abzu Tiamat. But he had paid them no heed. They hadn't wanted him to be born in the first place. So what say did they get over his life? He'd heard the tales. He'd read the sacred texts. The stories of a grand bank deep below the ocean in the great dark, where all manner of things could be withdrawn. Or all manner of things could be accomplished. He swam deeper and deeper, feeling the pressure around him as though an invisible fist was slowly closing. He could feel his ribs against his lungs like harsh fingers inside his body. You could feel his skull compressing like a vice. Every second seemed the last second. Any moment expected to hear a loud crack. Feel something give way. And pass on to the next life. But oblivion never came. How is fucking Jim Job Bombu being more serious than the fucking last two? How long does it take to fucking update Discord? Have you heard this guy? Look at this guy. Where is he? He's gone. Darnell's bailed. I don't know where he is. How long does it take to update Discord? What? So chat, as we're talking here, if you needed your Discord updated, would you do it in the middle of a live stream? Or would you do it afterwards? I want your honest opinions. I guess I'll keep writing. At last, he saw it. Or the notorious decided to have mercy upon him. A great monolith of a building rising out of the great dark. As a clearly man-made silhouette stretching out like a great moor. A bank. A house above the banker. Paul. His eyes watering red. Bombu took the last of his squidopus from his pack.
Can you
Hi.
Hey, so I saw Abzu Tiamat came up.
Yeah, this has become a very serious fantasy tale and a bit deep.
Can I get a TLDR?
So he's swimming down. Well, read it. Let's see what you think so far.
Okay. Is the whole thing still visible in your? Yeah. Jimmy John Bombu swam down, his scuba gear unwieldy around his body. He'd asked for one his size, but the Ocean Keepers had never thought well of him, and to be truthful, he expected they hoped he'd die on this expedition. At least this way he wouldn't defy the tribe again. When Bombu had been born, the brine and the baptismal waters had collected into loathsome clumps, the symbols predicting an accursed life. The stigma of that prophecy had followed Bombu all his life, stalked him through the libraries where he'd poured through forbidden lore, dragged its claws across his back as he'd trained to become a diver. The council had told him he was forbidden to swim in the water, in the body of the goddess Abzu Tiamat, but he had paid them no heed. They had wanted him to be born in the first place, so what say... Oh, they hadn't wanted him to be born in the first place, so what say did they get over his life? He'd heard the tales, he'd read the sacred texts, the stories of grand banks deep below the ocean, in the great dark, where all manner of things could be withdrawn. where all manner of things could be accomplished. Excuse me. He swam deeper and deeper, feeling the pressure around him as though an invisible fist was slowly closing. He could feel his ribs against his lungs, like harsh fingers inside his body, and he could feel his skull compressing like a vice. Every second seemed like the last second. At any moment, he expected to hear a loud crack, feel someone give way, and pass... Do you mean something?
Yeah.
And pass on to the next life. But oblivion never came. At last he saw it, or the hallucinations, I think he meant.
No, hallucinatorious.
Or the hallucinatorious decided to have mercy upon him. A great monolith of a building, rising out of the great dark. A clearly man-made silhouette stretching out like a great maw. The house of the banker, Paul! His eyes watering, Bamboo took the last of his squadopus from his pack and bit deep, sucking the air from its membrane to sustain him.
He'd bred the squidopus himself.
I think you mean squidopus?
No, squidopus.
Okay.
The ocean-born creatures. A fine vessel for precious oxygen.
Yeah.
As he swam inside the bank, his feet came to the floor.
I wonder how Paul feels about this rendition. Hey, Banker Paul, how are we doing your writing prompt?
As though
Are you happy?
he were back on land.
Hunter Spat 4 asks, what does Canary build? So Discord has a normal build, which updates like a normal app should. And then they have Canary build, which is sort of like Discord beta, and that it gets updates before normal Discord. But it often has every little thing Discord wants to update, whereas the updates on the major Discord app have them all bundled as one big update. So like every fucking few hours you have to update it, and it's such a pain in the ass. I hate it. But Canary technically works a bit better, and it works better on my computer in general, so I keep using it. But it's very frustrating. No one's talked in the chat for a while. I'm a little worried. Let me try refreshing. Maybe my chat's just glitched.
No, it's just been still for a minute.
Upon refreshing, we are no longer at 18. We are at 9 watching. Sad face.
Well, it's been a 2-hour, 35-minute live stream.
Also, indeed, Tan, it is glitched. There are a ton of writing things that weren't there before. Darnell clones himself and founds a nation. Just looked it up. Canary Discord is unstable and is where Discord allows people to test experimental features. No surprise Darnell's having problems. Comedy Man Kelp says, what have I missed, chat? Killer says Darnell's dead. Alpha says, look at him. Banker says, rip Darnell. Should one of us take Darnell's place afterwards? Who's on Discord? Go back in time and do it before, right when the guest arrived, because I'm not part of the Discord. Darnell went to the gas station to buy cigarettes. I have no clue where this is going. Nobody does. Not of Abzu Tiamat. Hi, Darnell. Sorry for taking forever to respond. Ah, yes. Water. What's water? What is
Abzu
Lonley
Tiamat.
talking about? Is that what that means?
Flickering like a black candle.
You're good. I think the thing was just glitched because I didn't see any of those things you guys saw before. Can someone say something as a test in a bit?
Like a
just
smile.
to double check. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over your epic.
Welcome.
There. Is this Paul?
Paul. Intoned. Are you here?
Oh, we're not even bothering with quotation marks for this guy.
Make a withdrawal. The end.
Bad ass. Banker Paul, I hope you liked it.
I'm
thank you
almost
for the
sure it
test.
wasn't what you intended, but...
You know what? I was pretty based. So our guest, how many minutes has it been? You should be
all
here
of
soon.
them. All of them.
All of them.
I will now
okay.
accept your upvotes for the story.
You should post these as a series of tales. It has almost been 15 minutes. We've got 4 minutes left till the predetermined time. So do you just want to chat for a bit?
Let's just chat for a bit, yeah.
So, Tanoni.
We won't-
Everyone always asks about 5,000, which I obviously haven't read yet, so I don't care yet. But I want to ask. So, people always ask the same questions, right? How did you get into SCP? Or they ask about your big thing, 5,000. But I have an interesting question. You've been here 9 years. What's kept you around? Because you've come and gone through the years, I know you've mentioned, but you always come back.
I
What is it that
like the
keeps pulling
writing
you?
style. I like the community because I got friends, and I like the universe. So
What has made you stop for a while in the past? Is it just real life busyness?
I get
or
burnt
just
out
the
on
periods?
writing.
Yeah.
I'm like that with everything I like. I will go through periods where I really, really like it. To periods where I don't care as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a sort of a cycle of things I cycle through. So right now I'm into Star Wars for some reason.
I know exactly what you mean because Yu-Gi-Oh is one of those for me, and I'm pretty sure it is for you because you got back into it, which got me on my cycle back into Yu-Gi-Oh, and then we burned out on it after like a month. And I'm sure we'll come back to it again.
Yeah, I'll stop quoting the prequels in a few days.
Han, my boogie.
I
I don't give a shit about Star Wars. I didn't watch them till I was in like high school. I'm not attached to them, but a lot of people love them, especially the people I grew up with. So they all act like I'm like a horrible person for not knowing everything about Star Wars. But I am glad you're very into it.
Discovering Star Wars when?
No. I would watch Star Wars with you, I guess, but they're just such long movies.
They're good though. What about General Grievous? You don't like him?
A fine addition to my collection.
General Kenobi.
How much has what? Here's a question I want to ask. As a huge Aetheral Space fanboy.
Oh yes, Aetheral Space is what you want to discuss, eh?
Yeah. What? So I imagine, like most writers, or at least like myself, you draw a lot of inspiration from things when you write. What things are Aetheral Space inspired from? Like is it somewhat Star Wars inspired? What series or ideas did you draw from that kind of helped you form it as it is?
So before I answer that, I'll ask Comedy House question because he answered that first. So my favorite Star Wars movie is either Revenge of the Sith or Last Jedi. So that's the answer. So and in relation to that, so my let me just put this up here while we discuss this, just in case you want to check this out at any point.
What are you putting up here?
Don't worry about it.
Gotta leave a Royal Road review. Tan will probably, I don't know, suck your balls.
No, I won't.
You sure?
Okay, that's the end of the stream. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
So what were my? So there's obviously some Star Wars in there. So it's very science fantasy there, Aetheral Space.
So you said Star Wars, but what else you said? Did you say cut out for me?
That's all I said. So because I said it's very science fantasy. There's also a bit of Hunter x Hunter in there. I don't know if you've not watched much of that, but sort of the
I've
way
only watched like the first 20 or 30 episodes.
the way Aether works in that is very similar to the way. Well, thanks anyway, Killer One Gamer One.
What did he say?
My feelings.
I haven't been watching Aetheral Space. Sorry, don't intend on watching it. To be honest,
That's fucked up. Especially because it's a book.
I think he means the videos we put out. That's fine. It's not for everyone. We're shilling at one because it's Tanoni who's writing it, obviously, but I just genuinely like it. Like usually when Tan makes me do something, he like DMs me like, do this, but like I genuinely like Aetheral Space a lot. And I don't normally like science fiction, but you did say it's more science fantasy, and I love.
Yeah, it's more Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't really like the Captain, we're going to the Quasar system in our super ship.
Oh my god! Number one, make it so.
But Aetheral Space is pretty good. I will say, especially, there are 4 parts that aren't out yet that'll come out over the next 2 weeks that really ramp up Aetheral Space as it hits its climax. That's what basically got me hooked into it.
Nice.
Cactus, the guest is here!
Where?
Hello! We have to switch calls, quickly!
Oh.
Hello?
Hello.
Special guest Cactus.
Oh, hello.
We've got him.
boys.
It's Cactus. We got Cactus on the stream. He's here.
It's been so long.
So, Cactus, here's the stream. If you need it, there's a delay. Just mute it so it doesn't make you lose your mind. Tanhoney, could you resume streaming again, my dear?
I never stopped, but okay.
I meant streaming on the Discord.
Oh, right, yes, of course.
So we can see live.
As if I have not already lost my mind.
Hunter Spataphora, I've watched all the Aetheral Space videos. I guess I look forward to it. I also try to give my thoughts in the comments. I've noticed based of you, Hunter Spataphora. We appreciate it. So yes, Cactus is here. Cactus, welcome.
Hey, what does POG mean?
It's
like
an
a Twitch
acronym.
thing. I don't know. Yeah, it means ping of games.
I might just be too much of a boomer to
Dude, I'll tell you, as a Gen Z dude, I don't get Pog either. It's some Twitch thing.
Well, that's good to know. Also, let's see here. Hello, Comedy Man Kelp.
All right. Yes, indeed. So, Cactus, we were working on some drafts where people give writing prompts, and Tanhoney writes a short story. He's wrote several. He's going to put a link up at the end of the stream in the Discord if you want to go back and read them. But do you have a prompt for Tanhoney?
Oh, shit.
What? Do I have a prompt for Tanhoney?
Any writing prompt. It doesn't have to be like flat. You don't need to give him like a paragraph, just a concept, and he has to go with it.
Okay, I've got one. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Dr. Bright. You're familiar with that goofy fellow. He decides that he is sick and tired of the old run-of-the-mill goofums and transports his mind, body, and soul into the body of Mr. Bobble the Clown.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so right. Dr. Bobble, that's what we're.
So what I think is Tan writes the story, and this time instead of reading it aloud as it goes, you and I should chat a bit with the chat, and then when it's finished, we can all read it together.
That's a good idea. Oh, and what is he doing? Okay, hang on. I gotta. So Bright is Bobble the Clown, and he's realized that the reason Bobble is so hateful is that he lives a tortured existence inside of a TV screen and he can't get out. And then he realizes that he's going to be in there forever, and it's very sad. And I have no idea how to end this.
Everyone's really mad at me because I said Pog is some sort of Twitch thing, and they think I'm acting like I'm a boomer that's like better than people. I just don't know what it is, guys. Chill out.
Let's see here. Have you seen my comment on the video you were a guest in? Have you read the whole thing? I did read the entire thing.
Ben Sisson and the guy who replied to you, that's this guy. Okay.
That's me. Hello.
Yeah, it was very, very long.
It was very long. It said it had that good girth. There we go. That's fun.
Would you like to while Tan does this, do you want to pull up the Grand Hunter Spataphora comment and go through it with me together?
Yes, let's do that.
What video was that? The episode 29, I think.
It was the monstrosity, the 3-hour-long abomination unto God.
Yeah, let me pull it up. Give me a minute. My computer's lagging a bit. Yeah, that comment is like the final boss of all comments.
It's pretty good as far as comments go. I should say this too. I say this, and it's going to sound perhaps hypocritical of me of all people, but it is my opinion and has been for basically ever that the real value, like the real currency on the wiki, is not upvotes. It's comments. Comments are worth so much more.
I mean, I don't know if I'd agree on every platform, but on something like the wiki, I would agree with you. The criticisms and the feedback from people, like their thoughts, are much more valuable than the simple up and down.
Especially at this point, like in my whole jam, I've just got so many upvotes at this point that they don't really mean anything anymore.
Yeah, I get you.
Look at this. But I get you in. Yeah,
he knows. He's the same way. He knows what's up. You know.
Did you see the newest comment on 1730? It kind of broke Tan and I's heart.
Oh my God! Hang on. Let me go check.
You added the Tanny thing, and they were like, he just edited and added something about Tanny. Does this have to do with the sequel?
Yeah. Does this mean something?
I feel so bad. It was just for a stupid podcast.
A lot of people will every now and then I'll do something like that. Like there was a comment today on the Reddit where people were asking about why the picture of one of the doctors on SCP-3000 is a picture of Aziz Ansari, and they assumed it was some dumb thing that I had done, some dumb malicious thing, which it was dumb, but. ARD.
Wait, what did you do? I missed that. Sorry. ADHD.
So there used to be a picture of one of the doctors that is on SCP-3000. His name is Dr. Venkat Krishnamurthy, and he's an Indian doctor. And we had a picture of him. And sometime later, we found out that the picture of him that we were using was no longer Creative Commons approved. Didn't have the old stamp of approval. So we had to get a new picture, and I told ARD, who's one of the other authors of that article, that he, if he didn't get me a new picture for the article of a suitably believable Indian doctor, that I would change it and make it Aziz Ansari.
The guy from fucking Parks and Rec.
Yes.
The guy from
comedy specials.
Yes.
Tom Hatherford.
Yes, Tom Hatherford. And he, we all, joke. And then he just didn't. And I asked him about it a couple times, and he just straight up didn't. And then it was taken away. So I said, well, the time is now. And sure enough, I swapped it out with it's not an obvious, it is kind of obvious. He's a pretty recognizable guy, but in the grand scheme, it could have been a lot worse. But we did pick I did pick a picture of Aziz Ansari, which is now that doctor's picture on that article. And I think people a lot of times assume a motive that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's just because it's
on the internet. People just really, I feel like, are ready to be mad about anything.
Most of the time it's just very funny. Also, I see that now that I am a cactus.
You are. Yeah, if you didn't notice, you missed it earlier. We were more active in doing it, but we were doing a bit about being VTubers. So Tan put some PNGs on and was like bobbing them up and down as we talked.
Oh my
we
god!
We need that VTuber money. I'm Luigi and he's Emil and you're a cactus.
I see. His little character over there is
very big.
Horrifying to look at.
Tan, can you minimize it a bit and then bring it back up so Cactus can see it?
Yeah,
Discord stream.
Minimize what? Sorry.
Can you make Emil smaller for a second, and then show his body so Cactus can see it?
I need to see his mass.
Yeah. There's a little delay, so it'll take like a half a minute or a minute.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
But yes, indeed.
So you guys have 500 subscribers now.
I know. We're celebrating. It's a very happy time.
That's very exciting for you. I'm very happy for you guys. You definitely deserve it.
Oh, blush emoji.
I don't know if you deserve more than that, but you definitely deserve that.
Oh, thanks, I think. You want to tackle this insane Hunter Spataphora comment with me?
Yep. I'm opening it up right now. Okay, let's see.
I guess we should alternate each number unless it specifically mentions.
That's fine. Okay, you start at the top. It is your show.
Okay. 1. Tanhoney and Darnell finally got DJ Cactus, the based god, and then a wiki link to your profile in a video.
That is true. I am that, and I was in the video, which is very exciting. DJ Cactus has as much personality as Tanhoney and Darnell. Being an SCP writer sounds difficult for me now since I lack such a colorful mind. I disagree with that. I think that being an SCP writer is all about, at least from my point of view, and Tanhoney can probably confirm or deny this. A lot of it feels to me more like being aware of your surroundings, right? Like I tell people the best way to get started on the wiki is to read a lot of things, and then when you go to write an article, just try and emulate those things at first. And there's going to come a time where you become familiar enough with the format that you can start to blend in your own ideas.
Yeah.
I'm not saying plagiarize anything.
No. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. It's the reason cliches exist is because they work, they're solid, they've been used forever.
Yep.
A lot of people have this idea that because people generally connotate cliches in a negative aspect. They want to be original because the modern day, it's all about being original, being individual. I think sometimes people try so hard to be unique, though, that it actively hurts their story. And especially when you're just dipping your foot into a new community, sticking to traditions, even if it's not the most groundbreaking thing, is going to be a better way to get used to and then gradually, put in your own unique stuff than just trying to be like, look at my new OC. He fucking mastered 682 and made it his pet, and then he teleported to Alagata and killed the guy in 1 hit.
And then he went to space.
So I see you've been reading my sandbox.
It's very much like it absolutely is that. And as much as to the chagrin of plenty of people, and it is something that I can't deny it, even though I don't really like it. This is very much like the wiki as a whole certainly benefits, or rather, authors on the wiki benefit from recognition, right? Like,
Right, yeah.
I certainly get away with much more now than I was able to in 2014. There are things now that I even things that are like projects of mine that people seem excited about, that if I had tried that back in 2014, I probably would have been laughed off the site.
And I think part of that is there's a respect, right?
Sure.
When you're a new writer, they don't respect you, and they're more likely to not engage with your ideas. But as a well-known people are more inclined to trust you and be like, "Oh, this is going to be epic. I trust."
Well, and I think at a certain point too, a lot of it comes down to like, because there are a lot of articles on the wiki. And people don't want to waste their time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
What did you say, Tan, by the way?
I was just saying hi to Hexic in the chat.
All right. Nice. Number 3 of this comment. There are 35 parts.
Oh, God. Okay.
Maybe dates and time shouldn't be redacted or expunged, because time is how you confirm the order things happened in. Having a 4-digit year could mean either 2020, 9804, or even 1132. As I'm pretty sure it'll be confusing to make canon that in the SCP universe guns were invented before the year 1132. Just a thing that bothers me. I agree, in general, less censorship would be nice, but I think the way around that is to uncensor the first 2 numbers of the 4-digit year and then censor the last 2. So you know, oh, it's in the 2000s, oh, it's in the 1800s, etc.
There are 2 things about this. Also, I like the sunglasses on the cactus now. It's very well done.
Nice.
The 2 things about that are, 1, I certainly do this less now, because back in the day, like, expungements were sort of like a big deal. Like, everybody loved expungements. It just got the people going. I don't do that as much anymore, because I don't really think it's that interesting. And 2, in the instances recently where I have done that, 9 times out of 10, it's just because I'm too lazy to try and make my dates all line up. It's much easier to be consistent with dates if there are no dates to be consistent with.
Yeah.
So
lazy SCP writer's guide.
Bro, it is absolute. I mean, that is true.
Yeah, because on one hand, giving less information makes your article feel more like vague and mysterious, but really a lot of times it just also lets you avoid the things that would make you have to think more about writing.
My God, so many people. Oh my God. And well, it's a 2-edged sword, and both edges are very sharp and good. On the one hand, it means you have to do, as an author, less work to make the piece appealing to more people, and on the other hand, it leaves stuff there for the audience to go, ah, shit, what could this possibly mean? Like, I wrote the Department of Abnormalities, right? And
Dan's really into that. I think he did a video on that without me.
Oh yeah, I really like the Department of Abnormalities.
It is a lot. That one was a lot of fun. I read it with Croquembouche, and it is. So the whole point of that article is like things left unsaid, right? You're given very basic information about a handful of things, and then that's it. And there's nothing else to go off there. And what's been really cool, because that's the only article I've written about that subject, and more articles have been written about it since then. And it's been really cool because like it's not like when I started writing Dato, right? Dato is funny pharmacist guy. He has a lot of quirks and things, and I've written about him a lot. So there's a lot of Dato stuff out there. There's not a lot of stuff out there about the Department of Abnormalities, and people have still kind of like taken the ball and run with it, right? Which is super cool to see, because what they're doing then is they're taking all of that blank space in there that we left because fucking awesome. That's a great cowboy hat.
Yeah, all that blank cowboy hats. Can I have one too, Tan?
Yeah, it's coming.
It needs to be green because it's Luigi. So you take all that extra, like that blank space in there, and people will, not just fill it in with, what's in their head, but also fill it in with, new stories and new ideas, which is a lot of fun and very, very cool.
For sure.
Okay, so
Part 4?
Maybe get people from Discord to read for you instead of trying to voice more than 2 people, or just avoid reading articles like 1730 for your own good.
Yeah, Tan mentioned something. Someone mentioned something about longer ones like Ouroboros, and I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, here's the thing about it, and this is, I have a lot of respect for like read audiobook. It's just such a drag, man. Like there was a period of time a while back where I was talking to somebody. I don't know if I was talking to Sherm or somebody else in this zone. I was like, yeah, let's do like a reading of one of my like long things. And then I sat down one night and tried to read the long thing and just got exhausted. It's just too it's
Well,
cool to
read.
It's cool to read it because reading it costs nothing but your brain, but talking for that long sucks.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And another thing too is partially, I mean, I'm just like, I keep mentioning, I'm super ADHD, so it's really hard for me. Like if Tan wasn't here reading with me, there's no way I would ever have finished 1730.
Bro, I
not
get
even
it.
like out of a disquality for that, but it's just too much for my brain.
I mean, I didn't even finish it in one go, so you know.
Fair enough.
All right, number 5.
I wonder if I'll still be here by subscriber 1,000. I hope you are, Hunter. I guess that's just me. I'm too serious for joking around. I've noticed you pointed that out a lot, but yet you've stuck with our jokey podcast, and I appreciate that.
You did skip from number 5 into number 6.
Oh, no. I said 5. I wonder if I'll still be here by subscriber 1,000. It might be so far into the future that we moved on. Oh,
right.
Sorry. Sorry, I read that. You're right. Oh my god, how did I do that?
They're about the same length, and they're split up right down the middle. It's very easy to confuse the two.
Whoopsie. All right.
I don't think so. I mean, you guys have picked up. How long have you been doing this? Only a couple months, right?
Six months. Yesterday was our 6-month anniversary.
Yeah, picking up some speed. You know, picking up a little bit of momentum. Got some name recognition. It'd be great. It's easy.
Okay, we've got our little thing done here for Dr. Brighton.
Do we wanna read your tale first and then do the Hunter Spataphora comment, Tan? You
Yeah,
can help
sure,
us with it after.
Yeah, sure.
That's probably a good idea.
So start from the top in the Discord. So Cactus, you'll want to go to the Discord stream because that's live.
Okay.
Like
let me
live, and then we can read it from there.
pull it up here real quick.
This is done in like half an hour, so please be kind.
Yeah. So do you want to be the narration or do you want to be voices? I don't care who does narration.
There's probably only the one voice, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you guys want to do.
I can do narration for you.
Then
Right?
Tan Honey should read it because he's got that good Bobble voice.
You know what? That's true. Do you want
Okay,
to be
I'll
Bobble
be Bubble.
Tan?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll do the couple of things because I see there are a couple things in here where he like talks to himself. I'll do those.
Okay. Bright pressed his white-gloved hands against the glass, grinning sadly. This had seemed like a good idea at the time. This had seemed like such a good idea at the time. Even now, shadows of assurance clung to his mind like ravaged spider webs. Surely he couldn't have made such a mistake. Surely he couldn't have been this foolish. The amulet, his first prison, dangled around the neck of Bobble the Clown, his second prison. His third prison was the screen of the television, a blank wall separating his little cartoon world from the universe beyond, from everyone he'd known and loved, from everything he should have been satisfied with.
Say something, he told himself. Ask for help. They'll save you.
He opened his mouth, but what came out was...
Hey kids, welcome back! Once again, it's your old pal, Bobble the Clown!
So real quick, because I don't really know anything about Bright, but I've heard bits and pieces and from reading that. Is he like a lich?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a medallion that he put on one time, and it did a real big oopsie to his his lifespan. And then if anything else wears the medallion, he becomes that thing, and that person is essentially dead.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy.
Something was wrong. This body, it wasn't fully his. It was like a branch of a tree very far away, and that branch was all his amulet could reach, like he was clinging to the leg of a spider and thinking he controlled its mind. He could think whatever he wanted, but the body was the thing that acted. His grin spread involuntarily wider, his jaw cracking audibly from the speed and force of the expression.
If you watched last week's preview, you'll know what's coming up next.
Bright's heart dropped. He thought that was a joke.
Bobble's self-mutilation corner!
His body said, dragging the words out so much it felt more like a scream, his throat running ragged. There were hands everywhere, from under his multicolored coat, from outside the walls of his tiny studio, from the gaps between his fingers, and each hand held a pair of delicate scissors. They stabbed and sliced, cut and gnawed, sawed and snipped and desecrated. A veritable manifesto of torture being written across his entire body. I'll leave this to you, Cactus.
Jack Bright. Jack Bright. Jack Bright! Jack Bright tried to scream, but all that came out was Laughter.
It's me, Bobble.
He's become the Jared Leto bubble.
He's what's the fuck, what is he have fucking written across his forehead?
Damaged.
Broken.
Damn it!
Damaged.
All right, Tan, this is the SCP video that the comments on. If you want to read it,
Oh,
we're on
please.
6
Oh, that's so funny.
of a 35.
Hey, 10, that was pretty good, dude.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was good.
For
And
half
he
an
only
hour.
wrote that in a half hour. I know, right?
Less than that, like 15 minutes. Pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, let me get the
so-
comment.
Yeah, it's the Hunter's Spataphora.
Discovering SCP episode 32. The Hunter's comment.
Oh boy! All right, so we're on 6. So I believe that was you, Cactus, or Tan. I don't care.
I can do. Okay, so let's do 6.
And
then
then we'll
you'll-
have Tan do 7, and then I'll do 8, and then we'll.
There we go. Yes, I love it. Okay. The anime talk keeps messing with the pace. I guess that's just me. I'm too serious for joking around. I guess I get it. It's certainly maybe disruptive. But look, sometimes you need to take a break in the middle of your podcast to talk about the socioeconomic ramifications of turning your entire culture into one based around a children's card game.
True.
That's just that's just sort of where I'm at about it.
Real talk. I'm aware it's not everyone's cup of tea, but like I said earlier when I was describing writing, there are things you will write about that not everyone will like. So write what you're interested in, and I feel the same way.
I was just interested in Yu-Gi-Oh.
I talk about things I'm interested in. That involves anime, fantasy stories, Dungeons and Dragons, various games and moments I've had with Tan. If it were such a large problem that the majority of the fan base was like, shut up about it, I would. But as it stands, I understand it's not your cup of tea, and I acknowledge that. But it is a part of what I'm interested in, and I'm not going to necessarily change the way I behave and talk about things over that alone. If it becomes seriously disruptive in like a long SCP like 1730, I'll try to cool it down in the future. But that's just who I am. That's what I do. But I appreciate your honesty with me.
All right, 10, you're up.
Okay, number 8 there.
7.
7.
You have to
Oh,
read
sorry.
7.
DJ Cactus's voice is a nice breath of fresh air. I should check out his podcast at some point. I feel like I'm having a Jedi mind trick put on me here.
Yeah.
This-
I wanted Tanhoney to be the one to compliment.
This is not the podcast you're looking for.
There's not a podcast we're looking for. Move along.
Simply check out the Cactus Cast.
Yeah, man, Cactus Cast. Oh boy, I am several years removed now from doing it regularly, but you know, it was fun. We had a good time.
I listened to it a lot back when I was playing for Overwatch for some reason. Before like years ago. So after the recent Blizzard thing, I've not played anything.
I mean,
since.
I really enjoyed doing it when I did it. But it's just so weird now. It's so much different than it used to be. Like back then, I was just some like nobody interviewing a bunch of big shots, right? Because I was kind of affable. And now it's kind of weird. Yeah, maybe we'll do it again someday.
I'll be honest, I was always really sad that I never got invited onto Cactus Cast.
I didn't. You weren't. You
I know. I
didn't exist
came back and I listened to the whole thing. Like, damn, I should have been around.
for sure.
If only Tanhoney in an alternate universe where Tan is on Cactus Cast and he becomes so famous he never meets me.
That was the Kalanin era. That was before he warped into Tanhoney again.
Yes, when I was going by that name.
All right, so I believe the next one is me again.
Yep.
I'll never understand meme jokes like Pepe the Frog. Tanhoney and Darnell are normal enough to understand it, but my mind is not wired to enjoy them. I'm too different. I'll say before I continue this comment, it's fine that you don't enjoy memes and jokes. I don't think that doesn't make you normal.
I also want to say that I don't like Pepe the Frog either, so...
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with not liking memes or not being a comedic person. It's okay to be different. I think it would be messed up if anyone said you're not normal. What would not be normal is if you actively harassed people who do enjoy comedy, but you don't do that. You're fine. You just have your own interests.
I think it's the thing is about memes, like internet memes specifically, is that they are inside jokes that everybody tells themselves and each other that they're all in on, but nobody's actually in on them.
Yeah.
So whether or not you're actually in on them or not is kind of irrelevant.
You said you even went and researched what a meme is, which is different from what everyone thinks a meme is. I don't think it is, because the point of a meme is it's like a memory thing that's like transmitted around through like a culture or like an area, and that's basically what memes as we know them are.
The DNA of the soul.
Except instead of a specific memory, the memory is an inside joke transferred around to people on the internet.
Yes. Yeah,
so
that's about right.
Hunter Spadafor is saying, type green, reality bending, and type blue, magic. Is there something behind the power of both of them? I remember all the types when the GOC was being done. I think I wrote the type red for that. But I never wrote much for GOC apart from part of the handbook that it's based around. Because I'm not tactical enough to write for GOC.
Ben Sisson says, Hex, where's my plushie?
Yeah, does he say that? Does he say that, Darnell?
Does he say that?
Yeah, he does.
Nice.
You know, cactuses. That's cactus, right?
I know. I literally said that.
Okay.
Earlier.
Okay, good.
I said, yeah, he read your comment. He's Ben Sisson.
Nice.
This is so sad. No one believes in me.
Hey, there are certain places on the internet you can go right now.
Darnell is saying that I don't listen to him. Every fucking episode, for every fucking SCP, I say who the writer is when I say the title. And without fail, at some point in the next 2 minutes, I'll say, Tanya, you wrote this one. As though I've forgotten to tell him.
I never, if it makes you feel better, I've never once assumed you forgot to tell me. I've always assumed, it's just, I'm not paying attention, so I need to ask you for my sake again. I've never been like, Tanhoney forgot to do it. It's just me fucking missing out.
Every time. 100 SCPs.
Right.
So who's next? Am I next?
Also, you have to, in my defense, the very first few episodes, you kept tricking me by hiding which ones were yours. So I always want to know who it is to make sure.
Here's a hint. If it wasn't written by me, chances are it was written by Roget. And if it wasn't written by Roget, it was written by Tanhoney.
So if I don't immediately tell you who wrote it, the chances are that I wrote it.
So, all right. So yes, next one is you, Cactus. It's 9, I believe.
Okay. What other things have DJ Cactus popularized by using it in his works besides MTF, Tau 5, Samsara? I don't think many, aside from like weird formatting things that I do a lot of that were things that people didn't do a lot of before I started doing them. Like when we first started rolling out the black highlighter theme, that was something that I made the proto black highlighter theme when it was called New SCP, and that was a trip. And then the process of that, like we got into working on black highlighter, and then Wodenhouse took over it and kind of really took it to the fucking danger zone. And then I started putting it in all my articles, and now tons of people use it on their articles, and it's super cool and fun. But aside from that, like, not really. I use Bright a lot.
You like Bright?
Well, I definitely use like a different kind of Bright than a lot of other places. But like, he's just such a dipshit in that universe that, like, like the assumption is that he's competent, but he's also just kind of self-absorbed and not quite responsible enough to be a major director, and yet he is because of tradition. So other things, like I don't think I've done anything else that was like, I was the first person to do multiple 001s, and now a couple people have done that.
Tam's done like what, 3? I think. 2. I thought someone said you did 3. My bad.
Not yet.
Rookie numbers, kid. You got to pump those numbers up.
So the reason I ask is multiple 001's a big deal. Is it because there's like an approval process to be confirmed as an 001 as opposed to the usual upvote? Oh, then why is that like a big deal? Couldn't someone in theory write like 10 of them, and as long as they get 20 upvotes, they stay?
So here's the long and short of it. The short of it is no. You probably would not get away with that. But the reason is because there's this sort of, and it was a lot worse years ago than it is now. There used to be people who would just straight up downvote 001s from the word go, just because they didn't think there needed to be any more of them. The idea at one point was that they were held to a slightly higher standard just by virtue of what they are. That's not necessarily untrue now. I still feel like the standard is higher there, and there are a ton of really good stories in there, and some other ones that I don't really care that much for. But in general, the whole like writing 2001's thing, excuse me, was because I just didn't feel like it felt kind of silly to limit yourself to one. Like here's the kind of story that you can write, and you can do it in this spot, but you can only do it one time. Never again.
I couldn't agree more.
So that's I think where we're at about it.
It's always like I always feel like this is like your big SCP, like this is the big one. It's like, but I want to do another big one.
But the fact is, they do allow multiple now. So
well, there's never a rule against it as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
people tend to get mad if you.
It's like fucking Airbud. It's like there's no rule. There's nothing in the rule book.
It says can't play basketball.
Didn't we read like a fucking Airbud meme joke one on the joke episode?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely true though, because it was just sort of one of those things that was like implied that nobody would do, and then like we just did it, and then nobody said no. So, ba-da-da-da-da, you know.
All right.
And the rest
so
was
now
history.
we're at number 10, which is your read, Tan.
When is DJ Cactus going to write at Zach 4? CSP 3000. Oh god, I've never actually said it. And Antasesha and at Zach Hub for what I'm talking about.
Before we get into the answer, real quick, sorry to interrupt. I wanna say I'm really proud of Tanhoney because he doesn't know how to read Roman numerals, but he did that flawlessly.
He did very well.
He very often has to ask me how to do a Roman numeral, and he just did that without skipping a beat. I'm very proud of you.
Well, yeah, 4. I can read the number 4. Thanks.
All right, but yes, Cactus. I don't know what that means. Should I plug my ears because this is spoiler territory?
No, it's not for this. Oh man. At Zach was a project I was working on just after I wrote 3000, and I wrote a couple entries of it, and there's a hub, and I have an idea of where that story is going to end. Boy howdy, I have such a hard time with long form narrative and like tying compelling pieces of separate writing together. It's just I have such a hard time with it. So the short answer is yes, that draft exists somewhere. It's not done yet, but the shape of it is there. When will it happen? I have so much to finish. I have contest entries. I've got another 001 in the drafts. I've got SCP-1732 Electric Boogaloo in the drafts. I've got an article about a horse empire in the drafts. That is an empire where the horses are in control.
Like Crusader
very
Kings.
Exciting. Like Crusader Kings, but horses.
You've not seen Crusader Kings, have you?
So like Crusader Kings, yes.
Yes, this horse lords.
And then the other big one that so many. Dread Titania, I still need to work on, which is part of the House of Apollyon series. I need to do that one, and then the last big one is Election Night, which
I've seen what you're doing for Election Night. That is, I can't see how you're gonna do this, but I'm looking forward to it.
Actually, buck wild, and I should have started. If I was gonna do it, I should have started much sooner. I don't think I'll get it done, but I have to try. So, short answer, soon. Long answer, who the fuck knows?
All right. Number 11. I wonder if GJ Cactus will see this comment. Is this even a comment at this point? 1, not only did he see it, but he's now seeing it twice. 2, this isn't a fucking comment at this point. This is
it's a manifesto.
No, yeah, it's absolutely a manifesto. It's longer than a lot of things I've written, so congratulations.
I love the dedication, and this is kind of a neat format, but please try not to do fucking 35 things next time. Especially because you want us to read the comments, please, I beg you.
I'll do my next one quickly. Unru's voice was such a bad idea. Why are you torturing yourselves? I don't think I'll ever understand. Why were you torturing yourselves?
Well, the thing is, I thought Onru would be a minor character because there was one of them, I think Ohalo in like one of the first logs, he only had like 2 lines, so I didn't think Onru was going to be a big deal, and then they became a big deal.
Joke's on you.
And Tanhoney has a habit of keeping me to my voices, which is funny but also harsh. For example, in D&D, there was a random bullywug that the players befriended, and he talked like this.
Oh my god!
Because I didn't expect him to say more than like 4 lines, and then they took him home and like made him a consistent ally. And Tanhoney refuses to let me drop the voice when I've tried.
Oh,
and I
dear.
fucking destroyed my throat over it.
You shouldn't have made
Oh,
him talk
dear.
like that if you didn't want him to talk like that.
Well, I didn't think he was gonna be that fucking important. He was just a random bullywug.
You shouldn't create a person unless you're prepared to see it through.
But yeah, it's just kind of a running gag we have of if you do a voice, you have to commit to it.
Oh, you know, it's like
usually I'm the one on the receiving end of the gag, but sometimes I make Tan do it too.
it's like that old trope. If you introduce a bullywog in Act 1, the bullywog has to pay off in Act 3.
Yeah, Chekhov's bullywug.
Chekhov's bullywog.
All
Okay,
right.
you're up,
Next
Tan.
one is Tan, yeah.
Next one is 10. Oh, if Darnell is curious about top 5 something, you fuckers. That's top 5 some sorry, why not read where they originated from?
Skip the links and go to the next part.
A warning is that these are all part of the third law canon, but these entries form a self-contained story, so you don't need to worry about the rest of the canon. What's weird is that these say they were written in 2016, and SCP-1730 says it was written in 2015. Care to explain, DJ Cactus?
Yes, this is a pretty easy one. I started writing 1730 time travel. Yep, I did teleport my mind, body, and soul back to 2015 and stole the idea full sail ahead of time. I created Samsara. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. No, I started writing 1730. It was a different kind of story in the beginning because I didn't know how to get to the place where I wanted to take it to. Then they did that buck wild thing and introduced an immortal soldier to the SCP verse, and I was like, "Fuck it, we're here."
Real quick,
And-
can I? Sorry, finish.
No, that's it. You're good.
I want to say, can I just admire Tanhoney's recommended videos on the side? The Sailor Moon mix, like a million Star Wars video, a random VTuber, and then fucking there's a live stream of just a big pink football.
I've just realised that my suggestions are that.
So he's got reading music, a lot of reaction videos, a Sailor Moon mix, and then whatever that football player is.
Miko meets Trevor's mom in her last date with Michael, English.
Oh my!
And he's already watched half of it.
Oh no!
I was curious.
Oh,
Number 14.
I just needed to see.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Number 14. I wonder what the YouTube comment limit is. Apparently, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not this.
All right, your move, Cactus.
DJ Cactus, you literally just added the Tanny bit recently on September 2nd, 2020. You did this just for the video, didn't you? For Pete's sake, that's all you did too. I checked. Yes. You know why? Because in this universe, I'm God.
So
no one can tell me what to do.
So the mysterious Tanny character, will he be a major figure in the next SCP?
Yeah, hey, and his voice sucks. So get ready.
Yeah, just fucking... Also, I thought we answered that in the video. I'm pretty sure you, like, Tan asked you, and then you said, yes, I added that. So I don't know why
it was fun. Hey, fuck it. Who cares?
And you know what? I like that. The fact that you wrote this big article everyone cares so much about, but you still don't mind editing your work and having a laugh. I feel like you're kind of like me. You weren't here earlier. I was talking about this because Hunter Spatafor was mentioning they take things seriously. And I was like, that's fine, but I'm a jokey guy.
Mm-hmm.
I react jokingly. That's who I am. It's not that I don't respect, that people put in the work, but I don't take everything super seriously. And I think that's why I get along with you a lot, because you're the same way, even though you are a quote-unquote, like, super big deal figure in the
SCP superstar.
community. You don't like take yourself super seriously. Like, don't you dare criticize me. My work is immutable.
Well, at the end of the day, like, I've received so much criticism that has been both positive and negative over the last couple of years. That at this point, like, look, I'm a grown ass man. I do this shit for fun.
Exactly.
It's silly stories on the internet. We're writing about it's poop statue fanfic. Like,
Poop statue fanfic.
What are we doing?
Exactly.
If you I don't get me wrong, I have legitimate artistic pursuits in here, and every now and then I'll veer hard into that if I can get away with it. But boy howdy, it's just sometimes just fun just to have take the piss, as our friends across the pond would say. Just take the piss.
And I think that's kind of the point of SCP, right? I think a lot of people take it seriously, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's the wrong way to enjoy it, or that a lot of SCP isn't that way. But
John,
I
on a
think
tightrope right now.
at the end of the, what'd you say?
You're on a tightrope right now, I think.
What do you mean? What did I do wrong?
I don't know. I just see where you're going with this.
my point is, at the end of the day, it's like a big wiki that people started for fun. You know what I mean?
True.
It's not like an actual author series. Some dude on 4chan made a post, and everyone's like, "This is cool," and they all started adding for fun. And that's why I think a lot of Series 1 SCPs are kind of on the goofy side, admittedly.
Hey, Darnell, I agree with you. Even if Tan Honey is about to lose his goddamn mind,
No,
I am on board.
I agree. I'm just trying to make you nervous.
I'm not saying you shouldn't take it seriously if you don't want to. I'm not saying there aren't plenty of great serious ones, but I think if you act like SCP all has to be serious and you can't have any fun with it, then I think you're losing out on sort of the charm of the wiki that it was built around.
I agree wholeheartedly, actually.
Yeah.
What's next?
I think Tan Honey reads.
Yes.
Tan Honey. This massive wall of text is kind of what happens when you give me, who's decided to comment on your videos, a 2-hour video.
I love it. It sounds like a fucking villain in a movie.
That's true. You did this to me, Tan Honey, son.
Look what you wrote.
You will reap the rewards for your actions, boy.
I wonder, how are you feeling about us reading your comment on stream, Hunter Spatafor? Oh, I swear there are at least 3 immortal MTFs. Oh, they're reading my long comment from the 3-hour video. Okay, cool. He's into it.
Nice.
He's into it.
All right, you're up.
Okay, so oh god, they're scrolling. Okay, so DJ Cactus described the leech thing as black a lot. He could either remove most of the blacks, or he could find synonyms like charcoal and umbral and a thesaurus.
Yeah. I've never opened a thesaurus before. Look, the way I see it, the only words I need are the ones in my brain, and if they're not there, bad news.
Absolutely. And I feel like once you open a thesaurus, you tread a dangerous path of like, I think normal people can use it.
Dangerously Google adjacent.
Yeah, because here's what I think. I think there are some authors and some people who can use a thesaurus and it's fine. But I think most authors, once they start using a thesaurus, they use it too much and they just start using random words that no one cares about to sound fancier, and then no one knows what the fuck you're saying. You're using words from 1600.
Yeah, I don't do it very much at all anymore. The only like thesaurus adjacent kind of resource that I use I have a website that I keep keep tabbed that I have a bookmark for that has 550 alternative words for said.
Nice.
Because it's just so especially if you're writing a lot of dialogue, it just gets it's so shitty to try and say the word said over and over again. It feels so bad. And there are a lot of real good ones. So yeah, I've got that. In fact, you know what, Tan Honey, I'm gonna do this gift for you. I'm gonna give you this gift.
What my secret is when I'm writing, I use something called wordcounter.net. It tells you how many words you've written and how many characters you've written. That's cool. But then it tells you how many times you've used a certain word. And I will compare the number I've used a word based on the total word count. And if like the ratio doesn't add up, I will go back and change that word to something else in my head. Or if I absolutely have to, I'll look something up. But that's the only time I would like use a thesaurus, maybe.
I definitely don't like I definitely don't like to double up on stuff if I can avoid it. And variety is the spice of life and whatever. But as for having a thesaurus on hand, in this case, would it have helped? Absolutely. In a better, different world, I probably would have just written those things in a different way, so that they did not end up. I mean, if I was going to write like actual legitimate prose and write about 1730, I would not have written the story that I wrote. It would have been a little bit different. So.
Sure. All right. I lost track. Who's doing the next one?
Yes. Okay. Where can I find a list of SCPs that are featured in 1730? There's a comment in 1730. I don't remember which page it's on. You'll have to flip through them. But somebody went through and did basically put them all together. Here's a top secret, first time I'm ever admitting this to anyone, piece of information specifically for the stream. I'm only doing this because you guys have been so cool and very friendly and have not shown up at my house in the middle of the night yet.
But
Flush the mood. We love you too, Kat.
That I know. So here's a fun one. So in this article, there's a scene where Houston gets his legs begonded, and there's this discussion later on about how he feels something wet and furry run around by where his legs should be. And everyone's like, fuck, it's Josie the Half Cat. Okay, so when I first wrote it, it was not Josie the Half Cat. I had no idea what it was. I just thought wet and furry was kind of cool. And so then one day, somebody was like, fuck, man, I can't believe you were able to fit Josie the Half Cat in there. And I was like, yes. Yes, I did. You are correct.
That makes sense to me.
I have done many same things, but I won't say where.
I mean, it's there. That has happened so many times, and I absolutely cannot admit to all of them because I'm gonna look like a hack if I do. But in this case, very much somebody else had that idea. It was not me. Now it's part of the public consciousness, and I get to take credit for it. So, well, except for right now because I'm outing myself.
Definitely also.
I have plenty of times done the same thing as a DM. I won't say when because Tan is in one of my games right now, but I haven't done it that much in our current game. But oftentimes in a game, a player will try and come up for a theory for something, and if that theory sounds cooler than what I had planned, I will make that the thing. And then they'll be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I predicted it! That's so cool!"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, you got it, man. Unlock."
Absolutely.
Way more interesting than what I had in mind.
I mean, at a certain point, I don't feel too bad about it because the wiki as a whole is like a collective writing expert or collective writing experiment anyway. So it is made better by collaboration, and that's why I think it's so important that we do stuff like this and get more eyes and stuff and get more people involved. But the side benefit of that is the community as a whole tends to make up for the shortcomings of its authors in such that it's very easy to miss things if you're doing it the first time. And I don't know, Tan Honey, if you have the same trouble with this that I do at this point in my career here. I have a hell of a time getting critique on stuff because it sucks so bad. It's so many, and it's not that people won't read your things. It's just that you kind of always get the same comment, which is like, "Yeah, man, it's really good." And that's it. And it sucks.
Yeah.
Because, it's at a certain point it feels like you are trying to improve or trying to do better at a thing, and it's hard to because people just are like, "Yeah, no, we get it. We get where you're at right now. We're there." Like, yeah, but I don't think it's that kind of, and this is one of those situations where somebody might have said, "Hey, that thing, like, are you gonna, is that a thing? Like, are you gonna bring that up anywhere else or tie that into literally anything else at all?" I might have said, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. You guys, you're right. I should have done that." No one did. But then after the fact, somebody came by and said, "Hey, that's probably the fucking half cat." Now everybody thinks I'm a goddamn genius because I put the fucking half cat in 1730. Joke's on everybody else. I'm actually a dipshit, and somebody else was a smart one. So
and you rolled with it, and that's part of it. You took from the idea. So
that's true.
I will say I really like the wiki being a whole collective, but like there are parts of the wiki I don't like. Most of it I like. As a whole, I think the SCP wiki, from what I've seen, is a great place. But there are little things I don't like. For example, because it's so big, I've noticed, because a lot of times Tan will read me an SCP and I'll go back and read it again later to like skim parts we might have skipped or just to reread it, and I'll check the comments. And I have one pet peeve I really don't like. It's usually on newer articles.
Tell him.
Because there's so many SCPs, some ideas get repeated, and I hate when someone like tries really hard, they make this thing, and then someone's like, "This is just a copy of this older SCP." And then I've even gone and checked, and I skim because I don't want to spoil things, and I'm like, "It's not. They did it their own way. Yeah. It's just a similar concept. Come on. I mean, there's like fucking 8 million immortal people, and everyone will be like, 'Oh, that's just Dr. Bright.'"
What that is, Darnell, you have identified a pretty major concern for, I think, not just people who write on the wiki, but also staff members that trying to avoid this kind of thing. And it's just like the absolute bottom of the barrel, bare minimum effort kind of comment that somebody posts because they think it makes them look like they know what's going on. And not to say that they necessarily have bad intentions. A lot of times people will do it because they want to get involved. But boy howdy, that's just a bad comment. Like, yeah, this has been done before. No fucking shit, dude.
Yeah, just like, I'll give you a hint. And I'm not even the kind of person that believes there's no such thing as an original thought anymore. So many fucking things have been written about. The reason cliches exist is because they're the most popular. You're gonna touch on things other people read about. It's about taking inspiration from the beginning and making something your own. There's gonna be influence. You're probably never gonna write something that's a complete, unique fucking masterpiece.
I mean,
so just this audacity that an idea belongs to only one person, everyone else is just a copycat of them, really pisses me off as a writer.
Even in the Bible times, Solomon was saying like, there is nothing new under the sun. Like, yeah, things have been done. Things have definitely been done. and it's not even necessarily a bad thing if you do things in a similar way intentionally. Like so much of writing is fucking calling back to other pieces that other people have done, and making I'm missing a word here, homages to other works, and I just don't see that as a problem. I get where people I get it, but I don't see it as a problem.
Okay, Hunter Spat 4 just commented, and I want to comment on this because I know you don't mean well. I know you're just asking. Hunter, I know you're mad. You said, isn't that plagiarism to a degree? No. Plagiarism is when you cut and paste, copy, or basically copy and just change a couple of words of something. Teachers always say this when you're throughout high school, college, and I don't think students really get it in their head. They just hear, oh, take something from an article, change a few words, teacher will never find it on turnitin.com. But no, that is plagiarism. Taking an idea that you're inspired by and making it your own is different than copying it. So let me give you an example. Let's say we take 1730.
I don't want to say anything. We do have 35 questions.
I know, but sorry, just let me take 1730 as a quick example. I could write another thrilling story about a thing that came up from another. Let's say I'm sticking fairly close to the idea that a lab came from another dimension. There are so many directions I can go with that that's unique without me just copying the whole plot of, oh, there's these demon writing things. Oh, we need to get the special force in to rescue another force. There's so many different ways I can go than that. Just because the concept of lab pops out of nowhere from another dimension.
Yeah.
I mean, that is definitely, and that's a very close example. Most times when people take inspiration from writing, it's just little ideas that as a whole, if you were to simplify it to its barest, sound like the same thing as the other thing. That is not plagiarism. Plagiarism would be if I took 1730 and then I changed MTF Tau 5 Samsara to fucking Anime Boys 69 Zeta. And I was like, all right, that's mine. That's plagiarism.
69.
I assume Abel's in command.
Yeah. Me taking oh, that's a cool idea, and then making my own thing out of that lab, that's not plagiarism. All right, that's me being inspired by that. Just as a quick example.
Yeah, there was some dipshit who ended up joining the RPC wiki a while back. His name was, I think his name was Crab King or Crab Emperor or something like that. Who said that I wrote the Pattern Screamer SCP, and the whole the beginning crux of that one is that it doesn't exist. So there's a line in it that says SCP-3930 does not exist, and he made a big deal about the fact that I had plagiarized him because he had a draft in a sandbox that he had actually written after my draft, but that's neither here nor there. Where he makes made a line about oh, such and such doesn't exist. And it's yeah, dude, that's just a thing. Get real.
Right. Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
Yeah, we gotta move on. I see your comment, Hunter Spetafor, but I want to keep this moving. We have 35, so I'm just gonna keep it moving from here. 20, I believe. Who reads this one?
I'll read it. Yeah, jokes that break Darnell just don't work on me.
That's a shame.
Okay.
Oh, that's just how humor works.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong with that, but I mean, yeah, I laugh. Just because you don't laugh doesn't make you not normal or me weird. I mean, it's just difference.
Jokes that break Darnell actually give me life force energy. So
jokes that break Darnell involve earlier in the street. Tanoni wrote a short story about him and 682 going on a date, and he said Parmesan, and he described his. He described the waitresses. He's like, please, my sister's lactose reliant. She needs the cheese and 682. I can't even say it. I fucking died on stream.
We can go back to it in a moment if you want.
Yeah, but that's not funny to everyone, but it fucking killed me.
Did you get laid in the date?
I didn't know. Unfortunately, the next story, Darnell assassinated 682 with a sniper rifle.
The next Reddit prompt someone said was Darnell gets jealous that Tan chose 682 over him, so he kills 682.
Ooh, wild. All right, you're up.
21. Sorry. Talking about Mount Everest makes me think about SCP-3480, Olympus Mons, even though it's Mount Olympus and not Mount Everest. I haven't read that one. I don't have a comment. You two?
I got nothing.
I think I read it. I think I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, Modern Erasmus is really good. He's a good dude, and he writes good stuff.
His name is SCP. Oh, sorry, I'm just stealing.
No, you're good. Go ahead. You're fine.
His name.
This is pretty basic one anyway. 3208. You know his name, or YKHN, authored by DJ Cactus and Dr. Sumerian. One of a couple collabs we did in the past. It's a fun article. It's about God and nightmares.
Maybe we will read it sometime.
I'm so cautiously scrolling downwards for the recommendations that appear.
Poor Tan. Isn't there a way to reformat the stream so it just won't show that part of the screen?
Yeah, I don't really care.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, you don't like watch anything naughty on YouTube. You should be fine.
This is where we link the last 3 episodes.
No, you skipped 23, my friend.
Did I?
Yes.
Anima Ex Machina by DJ Cactus also references Melodramogian.
Yes, this is an Alex Silva. So it's one of my other series, the Alex Silva football series, that has been going on now for 6 years, and I'm no closer to finishing it. Melodramogian does appear in this one somewhere.
Still a very cool word, by the way.
Oh yeah, it does. It's in the at the one point the football coach is talking to his cyborg quarterback, and he goes, "Crom, do you think for a minute that the thought of playing a robot bothers me in the slightest? And I consign my soul to the dark powers of the hereafter and pledge allegiance to the suffocating horror. I did it with one goal in mind: win motherfucking football games," said Alex Silva. You think I gave 2 shits while my soul was being shredded by the 1,000 hooked arms of Melodramogian, the most high horrific of what it took to win those football games? You think that when I was begging the many-eyed god of punishment to be made whole again, the concern of putting a toy in at quarterback even so much as crossed my motherfucking mind? It's a fun story.
I haven't read it, but that just reminds me of nothing in the rule book says a cyborg can't play football.
It's that was one of my favorite sections I think I've probably ever written in any kind of story. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll take a look at it sometime, Tan Honey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Also, if you keep up with the podcast Cactus, I think you might like the next episode because I think one of yours is in it.
Well, not the next episode, but the next episode does have one of his. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Wink,
a.
wink, nudge. It's very galactic. I'll just say that.
I like that. That's very good. What's next?
This is where we link the last 3 episodes. Read SCP-001, Not a Seagull's Proposal, blah, blah, blah. You will see something as good or bad as recursive reading. All right,
Yeah,
25.
not a seagull's super talented, by the way.
Ooh, is he a writer?
Yep, he's a writer and does a really good job here. It's a pretty good article.
Hopefully we'll give his stuff a look sometime.
I think the magic will be lost if DJ Cactus was in every video from now on. Him being a guest character will be best. Okay, that's fine.
So
who would the next guest be? Funnily enough, DJ Cactus.
It's me.
I
And
love having DJ Cactus as a guest. Tanhoney is very shy, so I literally had to have him give me his friend's Discord so I could harass them for him. We are getting more guests, but yes, I will say though, DJ Cactus is not a guest character; he is a person. But yes,
He's a guest fighter.
I like the idea that you've been imagined fictionally and come to life.
I'll wear a fake, like a big long fake mustache next time and be El DJ Cactador.
Ooh,
And that'll be me.
the desert flower.
The desert flower. I hail from the southwest. Okay.
And you're
Anna,
next.
you're next.
Oh, right, yes. The Exploring series is great, I agree. It summarizes SCPs that I've never read, including SCP-4840, The Demon Lancelot and the Flying City of Oedipoptopolis by DJ Cactus.
You did it! Yay!
Did it? I can't wait to get to that one, but that's a bit in the future.
Yeah, that's the series that I'm the most excited about right now.
I have to be honest, I am excited to see where you go with it as well.
It's fucking buck wild, dude. I can't wait.
Alright.
Big Dark
So-
Souls energy.
The next comment says, "Not even I know the first 16 presidents. Do you, Darnell?"
Go on, Darnell.
Oh boy, do I. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson again, James Madison.
Does that count?
James Monroe, John Quincy Adams.
He's not a different
Andrew
president because it's another term. He's the same
Jackson. I know,
guy.
it's 2 terms, yeah.
Betsy Ross.
Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, John Tyler, James K. Polk, Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, Abraham Lincoln.
Yep, you got it.
I can't dispute this because I don't know.
Hang on.
I memorized that because I think Donkey or someone said it as like a quote in a video. I don't remember, but I thought it was hilarious, and I kept joking about it with my friends till I finally fucking memorized it.
Okay.
He knows the first 16, but do you know number 17?
Fuck no.
Usually covered up by saying Thomas Jefferson twice.
Grant is the 17th president.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think.
No,
I'm wrong. Grant with the 18th.
Okay. Blah blah blah. Stream's still going. I left like 2 hours ago. Oh, welcome back, Big Cheese. Blah,
It
blah,
was
blah, blah. Okay.
Andrew Johnson. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Sorry, what were you saying? Next is you, 28.
Oh, cool. Don't read Ouroboros.
Discovering SCP the movie.
Yeah, that's what we'll do if we ever hit 100,000 subscribers. We'll fucking read
Ouroboros is fucked up. It's way too long. It's not even necessarily fair to call it one big consistent story because I retroactively made it consistent, and part of it's not even. Oh, dog! Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It is the longest thing I've written on the wiki by far. The last part of that is my longest single piece. It's like I don't know. It's like 90,000 words or something stupid. It's real long.
I'll make a promise I'll deliver on. If sometime in the very distant future we ever hit 100,000 subscribers, we will do a stream, Tan and I, where we just read Ouroboros, and we will not stop.
Wait, what?
No, don't make that promise.
Wait, what? You can't promise that I'll be there.
Fine, then I'll do it. I'll fucking carry the throne. If we hit 100,000, I'll find a day to stream, and I will not stop till it's finished.
Okay, Ouroboros, real long. Don't read it. SCP-73 is long enough. Wholeheartedly agreed. Down you're up.
Finally got to you reading my comments. 159.19. Of note, everything I hear I take seriously. Sarcasm is not something I can discern really well, as Asperger's does. On a positive note, it helped me write this massive comment with no regrets. To have a more technical thought process at the cost of social competency. Also, I couldn't hear everything Darnell said towards the end because he kept cutting out.
This is so bad. We've since fixed this problem with the magic of clap syncing, although that doesn't apply to this stream or some of our gaming videos when they have a lot of people in them, because it's easier to record desktop in that case.
I would also add too that you could have fooled me. You seem like a pretty chill, cool guy. Would not have guessed that you had any kind of cost associated with social competency. I think that's true with a lot of people. I think people just sort of assume that if they don't interact with other people the same way that everybody else, or that other people interact with other people, that they're somehow diminished, and that seems silly. It's like expecting all cars to be the same, right? Like there are different models of cars and different models of people, and some do things better than others, and some don't. For example, I cannot fit into tight spaces. That is just my lot in life. But I can reach the high shelf, so I've got that going for me.
Hey, nice. For me, for a long time, I thought I had a lot of social problems that no one understood because of my ADHD and just my general behavior. And then I found this artist on Twitter. I think her name is ADHD Alien or something. And she does these comics. It was describing, and to this day still does, my exact thought process, a lot of the problems I have. And I see all these comments of people who had the same, and I was like, OMG, other people get it. I thought I was just a weirdo.
That's maybe the best thing that the internet has done, and it's done a lot of bad things.
I agree, but I think that...
Have you seen this thing called the SCP Wiki? It's fucked up.
I will say I did find a fatal flaw. I finally found the crack in your armor here, Hunter Spataphora. You skipped 30. There is no 30. It goes to 30.
Oh my god!
Where the hell is 30? What did you do with it?
And so now we demand 30.
He did this on purpose. There's no way he did not do this on purpose.
So
all right,
now
you're next.
Tan, or is it me? I don't know.
I'll read it. I don't care. Research Chatalarone is from SCP-3999. I am at the center of everything that happens to me by Lord Stonefish. Very good piece. I don't know if we'll read through it because I don't know if it's something that translates well to a podcast.
And it is buck wild. It's great to get through, but it's buck wild. I'll do the next one. A good follow-up to 1730 would be 2783, Silent Lamentations of a Clockwork Goddess by Agent McLeod.
That is close to where we're at after you guys see next episode. We'll probably get to that soon based on what Tan's been showing me, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that, but based on the name and the number, I feel like we're getting in that area.
McLeod is a cool dude, and he's very good at what he does. So this should be a good one for you guys.
Yeah. What do you think, Tan? Was that one of the ones you had in mind?
It wasn't, but we'll probably check it out anyway.
Awesome. All right. Reading comments is only for discovering SCP videos, right? I guess that's why I've heard nothing from my Aetherial Space comments. I'll tell you why you've heard nothing from your Aetherial Space comments. We do read them, and we do appreciate them. But Tan Honey, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, Tan is a busier... We both have work, and we do this, but Tan's work is much more heavy than mine. Tan Honey does not always have the time to go and answer the comments. I do, because I love interacting with you guys, and he does too. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I have a bit of time to interact with you guys.
Hates you.
No, Tanhoney does not. And I respond to some of your Aetheril Space comments, but a lot of them are directed to Tan, so it's not really something I can say anything about
I do
without it
apologize.
being like I'm trying to like weirdly defend him, which I'm not.
It's my white
I just
knight.
haven't responded. So I know it feels like you're busy. I promise you we read them, and we appreciate that you're a regular listener of Aetheril Space for real. I love the series. Tan's really hyped on working on it, and I know it's not one of our more popular series because it's not SCP, but we sincerely appreciate it. I promise you we read them, but I just don't want to respond as if speaking from Tanhoney's view, and he's too busy to go through all the comments. But yes, we do appreciate them. We do read them, I promise.
Darnell Sims for Tanhoney.
I do. I say, and part of the thing, I forgot to mention this
There
earlier
comes
when
the
they were like,
defense of
yeah,
it.
except Frank and Darnell just don't work on me. I think part of the reason I'm such good friends with Tanhoney, and I mentioned this earlier when he was gone, is he makes me laugh. I don't often say whole speak to Tanhoney because our bit is like we bully each other, but Tanhoney, like, he may not be the best guy to go to if you've got like serious issues or whatever, but like he always knows how to make me laugh and make me feel better. He's always just a chill guy, and he always cracks me up all the time, and I love it. He will often, usually at least once a week, back in the day when we talked every day, it would be once a day, he will say something that will send me into an insane fit of laughter. And it's just so consistently, such a funny guy.
So goddamn cute. I can't handle it.
Oh, please.
That's really sweet. Hey, you know what, Tanhoney? You're all right.
Thanks.
Okay.
I'm glad you finally accepted me.
Acceptance arc.
Should I have timestamped when I wrote these points? No, this has been pretty effective.
No,
way
it's
to get
fine.
through these.
You're fine. You're fine.
In the future, though, I'm gonna make a hardcore rule. Just because you said you're a serious guy and you've said that it's hard for you to limit them, I will make a rule for you. And I'm not saying we're gonna punish you if you don't follow, but I'm just saying something for you to go by for us reading you in the future. Try to keep it to less than 15 points.
Please.
35 is pretty insane. We wouldn't have done this if we weren't doing a live stream.
If you want punishment, I can give you that too.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead. Last one. It's all you.
Who's you in this?
You, Tan.
Me?
Tanhoney, it's you.
Writing this comment made the 2-hour-long video take 4 hours. The live stream is also now near 4 hours. I guess writing comments like this is just how I am. This is like an acceptance arc at the end here. Still needs improvement, but it works.
You were like saying you were normal. Now you're like, this is who I am.
I'll learn based on Tanner's response to this 1,000-word piece of work. Glad I wrote this in another window and then copy-pasted it here. 2 likes.
I liked it. I'm one of the likes.
This comment is where Cruel Angel's Thesis starts playing.
The YouTube comments like shatters. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes.
The final boss of YouTube comments. Before we had Hunter Spatafor, we had Boris. Boris used to leave us essays like this too. He hasn't done it recently. That's fine, but we love Boris just the same.
Boris is our first special guest on the podcast, so we'll always... And we also read one of his drafts today earlier in the stream, so we love Boris.
Hunter Spatafor, you do not need to write your comments to me. You can write them however you want. And like I said, if you need to go points over, just keep doing you. But if you want a hard limit that'll help you, 15 would be nice. I'd say if you go over 15, we probably won't read them all when we do.
We will freeze your fan answers.
Yeah, that's what Banker Paul said.
Well, thank you for inviting me, boys.
Yeah, it was really cool to have you, Spice.
Yeah, so much fun. I'm sure you guys are gonna do your out show, so I'm gonna skedaddle.
Yeah, you take care, man.
Next time you have 500 subscribers, hit me up again.
Yeah, we're gonna. I imagine we're gonna dip down a bit after Darnell is caught in some kind of controversy.
Yeah, we'll do.
What controversy? What did I do?
We'll
Sorry,
find
I have
something.
opinions that not everyone agrees with. It's called being human.
Don't worry, I'll come up with something.
All right. Bye, everyone. I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
This is the end of Cactus.
All right, you got to remove this thing from the stream.
Oh, of course, of course.
Bottom. I think we should just close off, talk to the audience a bit, and then we'll probably call it in a couple minutes.
I do have to get tomorrow's episode of Discovering SCP sort of edited, so...
We'll cut it then. Let's do one final question. Whoever types the question first will answer, and then we're going to get the fuck out.
Oh no, what happened to Cactus?
I can't see it on the stream yet. What did happen?
He's perished.
I'm watching carefully to see what you do. Oh, that was fun though, Tan. I really enjoyed these 4 hours. Truly were fun. Fucking Joseph. No, 14. Please don't. Actually, as a meme, unsubscribe so that we'll fucking do another stream. We will stream again soonish, probably. It'll be based. I like streaming.
Thank you for showing up, everyone. We really appreciate it. Even if you couldn't say the whole thing, or if you've shown up closer to the end.
Yeah.
Hunter, we'll read that one. Those on the. We'll maybe next time, Hunter. The stream's almost over. Please.
Oh god, they actually.
If you do it, I'll know. So, anything else you want to say, Darnell, to our fans, our people?
I'm waiting for a final question, but no one's written one, so
I'll ask
guess...
one.
Okay.
How you liking discovering SCP?
How am I liking discovering SCP? As someone, I listened to almost all the episodes. When we first started, like our first 5 or 6, I actually listened to each of them like 4 times. Because that was when I was still a janitor, and I would spend long times working, like just doing things for hours, and I would just plug it in and I would listen over and over for flaws, things we could improve on, what was funny, what wasn't. I don't usually listen to podcasts, right? I think partially what helps me listen to this is you're the funniest guy I know, and I also like hearing myself talk. Okay. I'm not ashamed to admit that. So I've been listening to our podcast, and I like it. There are parts that could be improved. You know, we've got a long way to go in terms of editing, audio, fixing up our stuff, but I think we're good together. I've had fun, and honestly, I want to say this in a way that doesn't sound cocky or like blemish, because I know we
cheesy
only
as possible. Cheesy as possible.
500. Yeah, but my point is, the fact that there is a community of you guys, over 500 of you, that like listen to us and show up to streams, watch videos, care about what we say, whether you're in the Discord or not, communicate with us. It's like really heartwarming, you know, that people care about what we like. All right.
So I'm doing some background music for your speech.
That people care about what we have to say. That, you know, people watch us. That you guys have stuck with us. We wholeheartedly appreciate it. Especially even if it was for a contest for money. The art contest, when we saw fan art being made, that like touched my soul. I was like, I remember talking to Tana. I was like, we got to start going all out with this. We got to be more serious. We got to keep working on improving. Like, these people, they really are giving us their time and their effort, and I want to return that. And we're going to keep working on that and improving as much as we can. And who knows, maybe one day, if we're super duper lucky in the distant future, we'll make a living out of it. I don't want to assume that, so I'm going to keep on my current career path, but I will keep trying to work on this for as long as I can. I've wholeheartedly enjoyed this ride, Chan Honey. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. I also like it. Good.
Well, no, this is where you need to put Luigi and Yoko Taro together so they hug.
Okay.
Finally.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I meant to grab Cactus, but I grabbed the entire screen. Like, get Cactus's body out of here.
What if we hugged at Cactus's dead body flushed emoji? But yeah, I think with that, we should end the stream. What do you think? Or actually, no, I want to hear your opinion real quick. What do you feel about discovering SCP?
I'm having a lot of fun with it, and that's the most important thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so you're my big friend, and I like hanging out with you, and I like
Big friend.
my big friend.
I love it. It's my favorite title that I've ever been given.
Look, we're approaching.
Alpha. Alpha says I like the podcast mainly because of the chemistry you guys have. Really, oh no. Because the chemistry you guys have really makes it enjoyable to listen to. Thanks for the laugh, guys. So far,
these fucking people looking at the screen. We are going to beat you to death.
Hey, speaking of which, that's the name of your team in the contest.
Yeah, maybe check out once we finally post something.
All right. Yeah, Hunter, I know you've mentioned that wanting to join the Discord before. I'd strongly recommend it. If you hate it that much, you can just leave and uninstall. But I think you'll like the community. It's really fun. We interact with people there as much as we can, whether through text or call. I think you'd like it. But for now, I say
Hold
we
on one
sign
second.
off.
I've got one thing to do first.
All right, what are you doing?
This is the image I want to leave our viewers with.
Okay, I can't see it.
It will appear in a moment for you.
Alright, should I wait for it before we end, or should we end and I'll just see it at the end?
No, wait. I want to see your reaction.
Okay. And so we wait.
And there we have it.
I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, we are going to beat you to death! Yeah, this should be the thumbnail of the stream if we figure out how to... Here, actually, while the stream's going, I'm gonna take a snapshot and send it to you, and you can make it the thumbnail of the video
Okay.
because you can do that in post.
Well, again, thank you for watching, everyone. We really appreciate it. Thanks. If any of you stuck out for the full 4 hours, I can't believe we've been streaming 4 hours. We've every fucking stream I misread it and say we've been streaming 4 hours. This time we actually have.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to say?
Bye.
Bye.